I'm gonna press the go live button. So
Do it. Make us go
we're
live.
now live.
Wait.
Are
We
we?
need to introduce ourselves
individually
this time.
I don't think you started.
I haven't started recording yet, but the stream is now live.
Oh,
So
hello.
the stream should
I just
now
got
be
the
live.
notification. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's get this show on the road then. You all ready?
Indeed.
Give me a second. I'm gonna start recording my camera because I'm filming myself.
Oh, true.
Do you want me to film my webcam too?
No,
I can do that as well.
Yeah, I'll turn my
only
webcam on.
only if you guys want to. We don't need to do that. Don't worry about it. I have it handled. I have it under control. So I have the one camera set up, which is all that I need for the moment.
The fact you have this under control scares me.
We have a chatter.
Hey, Steph. Yeah, a friend of mine.
What's up, Steph?
All right. Y'all ready to actually start the actual recording?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
I already started recording.
True.
Way to go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Hivemind Recap Podcast. It is about damn time for our April recap. What do y'all say?
Fuck, man, April.
Yeah.
April, that's all I'm gonna say.
April was a long month. Every couple of months you get hit with those 5 Fridays in a month, and April was one of those months. And even with the first week of the month only giving us like one new song to talk about, boy, did the rest of the month make it hurt. It's like bittersweet, where it's like there's so much good music, but then you know that we're gonna have to spend 3 hours talking about it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's overwhelming in the best possible way.
It's gonna be a fun 3 hours though.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. So anyway, if you're new here, welcome to the Hivemind Recap Podcast. The four of us are going to be talking about the best in hard rock, alt rock, metalcore, and more over the next not half hour. That's
half an hour. Yeah, good
luck.
luck.
Yeah, that's my radio show.
I'd like to try and see us hit half an hour with this playlist.
But yeah, we talk about all that kind of music on this show. You can keep up to date with the show on social media at HiveMindRadio_ on Instagram and Twitter. And follow us on Spotify at Hivemind Radio Recap. Available on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, etc. Yeah, that's about it. Before we get into the actual songs, y'all want to talk about April just like in general?
What do you
as
mean
a
by
month?
In general, like
how you feeling about April?
Felt about April?
How you feeling about April?
Man, April sucked ass, bro. I hated April.
Okay, but how about the music from April?
Oh, the music was fantastic. I think this might be my favorite release month of the year, honestly, so far.
I'm gonna compare this not to be political or current times or anything, but I'm compare this with the current situation of everything is starting to blossom.
Not in Canada.
I'm talking about America. You don't matter. It's fine.
Yeah, stupid Canadian.
Jacob is just a figment of our imagination.
Exactly. He tries. But no. I think a lot of things are coming down the pipeline. There's a lot of bands that are announcing albums for next couple of months. As of recording this, Caskets, otherwise known as Captives, just announced they're having an album in August. So that's one of the few kind of bands that are now starting to announce an album for later on in the year that we can get cited on. So a lot of stuff is being prepped for later on.
Yeah, a ton of tours being announced. Just in general, probably coinciding with labels deciding, okay, we've got the ability for these bands to now tour on this material that they've been sitting on, so let's start putting it out one by one. Yeah. Which makes you think that the next few months are probably, unfortunately, going to be just as hectic as April was. Yeah. And in some regards, I want to be proven wrong. I'm fine with having a more chill month, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, I want new releases from bands that I haven't gotten anything from in a while,
You say that, and we had the Ragnarok of April 29th, and we're probably going to have a Ragnarok of May the 14th. So who knows at this point?
I don't think the 14th is going to be that bad.
Why would you say that?
Why did you say that?
Out there?
I don't know.
What is wrong with you?
Half the singles that were announced for the 29th were during that week.
You have a point.
Yeah.
You have a point.
14th is seeming like a lot of singles. I don't know if May will be a very album-heavy month. There's nothing really on my radar. that I can remember off the top of my head. But
Not that I know of. Otherwise, unless it's already announced, like
Again,
released,
like
like
we're
the
talking about-
Dimension.
well, yeah, I was gonna say that like a lot of whatever it's called, announcements for certain
Mhm.
things, probably of like, okay, well now I've got more albums on my radar, but in terms of stuff that's actually coming out, you know.
Yeah, we won't be talking about, but there's an EP, Soft Spoken, have an EP coming out next month. We won't be
True.
talking about the single that released this month, but we'll be hitting on it more during the EP talk next month. And there's a couple of things as well. Let's go ahead and mention this now. We're not going to be talking about like Citizen Soldier anymore until their albums or dual albums, wherever the fuck
Yeah.
they're going to be doing with that.
Yeah, who knows at this point, right?
I think the general point is that we're not going to be talking about Citizen Soldier this month and for the foreseeable future, unless they release something that is actually different from what because it's gotten kind of stale for us. But in general, we're going to start cutting songs from bands that released new music. We've talked about them before on the show, but we think it's underwhelming because in a month like April, where if we didn't make any cuts, we would have, I think, 45 singles to talk about today.
Something like that,
Yeah.
But we cut out a couple of songs from bands that we've talked about on the show previously, but the material we thought was a little bit underwhelming. We all didn't have too much to say about it, so we aren't going to be talking about it. So, yeah, basically just to make it more manageable for us, or else we would all go crazy.
There's also some newer bands that we unfortunately can't talk about, but they're still on our radars. So hopefully, when they release more stuff, we'll be able to mention them further.
Yeah,
But hey,
exactly. A little bit of lull.
Citizen Soldier, if you're listening, if you come on the Hivemind after hours, you'll get back to the show.
We might forgive you, yeah.
That's a good transition. We kind of just sat around on the after hours idea for the month of April. We weren't sure if we wanted to do it monthly or bi-monthly, but I guess since we just kind of sat around and did nothing, we're going to be doing the after hours bi-monthly or kind of just whenever we feel like it.
Right.
So as per usual, anyone that listens to this podcast, any bands we talk about, any bands that we haven't talked about and are interested in, like kind of just chatting with us for an hour or so, feel free to reach us up on social media, as I mentioned before.
Or 3 hours.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we are looking to get into chat with more bands and musicians and artists in the scene on our after hours show. So with all that being said, I think we should get into the singles for this month.
Let's do it.
What do y'all say? Let's get started with Palmist and their brand new single, Spark.
This is a vibe.
Yeah, vibe is a great way to put this song. Palmist, it is undeniable the British accent that this man has on the vocals. And I think that's kind of the selling point of this band, that it has that very vibey feel, but it has like a vibe of like rock mixed with like vaporwave synth rock kind of stuff, I guess. And it's just a really neat sound overall. And I think this is probably the best execution of that sound that Palmist has had in recent memory.
If not the best, the most different, because if you go back and listen to their Fake Smiles single, or even anything off of Wildfire, their EP back in 2019, this is very much different. And you can kind of get a feeling with it. They did release a single of Wildfire in the synthwave mix, and I feel like that might be the sound they're going for now, because you can definitely hear, especially the start of Spark. Yeah, I feel like it worked well. Honestly, this hasn't been in my repeat a lot. It was the start of the month, and it's kind of fallen out.
Yeah, the fact that this was one of those months with 5 release Fridays, this is like really old for us. Like, this is over a month old at this point.
I think we talked about this before recording a March's recap, I think. Well, we didn't talk about it, but it was released.
Yeah, it was released around the time that we did our March recap over a month ago at this point.
Yeah.
At a time where, we've got last month's music to deal with, and then we're finally like, all right, we're caught up and get into this month's music, and it's like, oh no, just kidding. Kidding. You've got 80 million other things to listen to now too.
I do want to make note of that this is like the only notable single that released on that first Friday of April. So this was definitely on rotation for me earlier in the month until the second week came rolling around, which is when the real good shit really started coming.
Right.
But in saying that, like, this song is still great. Palmist are definitely in up and coming artists to keep your eye on if you haven't heard of them.
Absolutely.
Any other thoughts on this one?
Nope, not out of me.
I was just gonna say it's interesting that you say up and coming because our next artist is absolutely not up and coming. They came up and they've stayed there.
No,
Crossfaith.
they fell down.
They fell down. Yo, big facts.
Crossfaith went on the
Big
roller
facts.
coaster.
They've been on the but on the path to victory, I think, with this one, their new single Red Zone.
This is Crossfaith's best song in years.
Long time.
And it is
Long
not
time.
particularly
Hang
close.
on.
What do you mean?
So, all
hang
right,
on?
what's the contention?
It's just okay.
Oh?
Okay, but you can't just ignore the breakdown of this song. You can't just ignore the breakdown.
That's very rude of you.
I'm
That
sorry, Jacob. I didn't
single-handedly
get that. I'm not on anyone's side.
That's true. We got Justin Switzerland when it comes to CrossFit, right?
Just pitching my flag over here while there's
Exactly.
nukes flying.
Oh, jeez.
There's a World War II joke to be made here because CrossFit is from Japan.
Dude, no, stop.
Oh boy.
We ventured into dangerous territory.
Could you say we ventured into the red zone?
Yeah, okay, I'm done. I'll see you guys in May.
It is May. What do you mean?
Wait. Hey, I'll see you in June. Jake, it's very interesting that you mentioned that because I had it written down that, and this is a quote from my notes. I mean this in the least discriminatory way towards Japanese people, but this chorus gives me anime intro vibes. Like, I feel like the chorus for this song could be in like any given anime intro, and I like wouldn't mind it. It's got that feel.
I think that's fair for sure.
It's very not like just like it's like the shonen action anime. You know what I'm talking, like, kind of like a Dragon Ball type thing where there's like people punching each other and this is playing in the background. I don't know. I also had a great breakdown written in my notes.
It's a sick breakdown. Probably the best breakdown that CrossFaith has had since I would go back to Soul Seeker, that single they released back in 2018, which is the last time that CrossFaith really stood out to me.
The Perfect Nightmare. That's the breakdown. My favorite CrossFaith.
I haven't listened to that song in a lot. I think the time that album released, CrossFaith was still on that border of being too heavy for me, so I didn't really appreciate that song back then. But anyway, I think we've already mentioned how sick the breakdown in this song is. But there's a lot of other great shit in this song too, like the build up right at the beginning of the song. And I also appreciated the drum work in this song a lot. During the main riff, there's some really creative drum fills and whatever.
Yeah, overall, I mean, just like you said, a really good CrossFaith song. My favorite in a while as well. You know, nothing. This band has been on the precipice of being good for a while, and I feel like this is really the first time I've been able to truly appreciate what they put out.
Yeah, totally agree. Even if I've been higher on them in recent memory.
Yeah. Are you finally high on Our Hollow, Our Home after their new single, 7 Years?
Shine a light on me.
Yes.
So, no. My opinion on this band still has not changed. It's just the same as I've said when we've talked about their previous singles in previous months. I appreciate their Queen's vocalist. The choruses are nice. The instrumental work is nice. The unqueen vocalist just doesn't work for me. And that's not a knock against him. It's just a stylistic difference that I don't appreciate as much. And that's really all I have to say here.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I feel like they almost listened to me and then like held their middle fingers up to me in the same breath. Like last month I was talking about how I felt like either one vocalist was doing really well and they were very dynamic with their delivery, and then the other vocalist would, kind of fall flat for me, be very one-noted, and it was holding the song back. I finally get a song from this band where I appreciate what both of the vocalists are doing, and then there's no like shining instrumental moment. Like I feel like there's no like memorable solo, there's no like huge breakdown. It's like they're like, all right, I hear you. I see you. I'm gonna take your I like both vocalists and raise you, no breakdown. And I'm just like, wow, okay, sure. Whatever, man. Why not? I don't know. I like even the lyricism for me. Like there in the first verse, the way that he delivers, sever the ties, shatter the pretense, and am I really living a life if living a life is like this? Like I was like, all right, this is it. This is the Our Hollow Our Home song. And then I got done with it, and I'm like, man, I am not sold. I have been unsold on a song. I don't know. I maybe given some more time, I'd enjoy it more. But like as it stands, there's just something missing from every song I've heard so far, which is really upsetting because I've listened to this band forever. I really, really want to love the new singles. I need that one cohesive package to really, really sell me on the whole thing.
So I think this is my favorite of the singles,
I agree. I agree.
but like it's still not something I would add to my playlist. Like I haven't added
Mhm.
any of the singles to my playlist. It's
I've tried.
yeah, it's. I think I'm with Jake as well. Like the unclean vocals just turn me off a little bit. I don't. I feel
Mhm.
like it's not terrible, but
Yeah, it's just really upsetting to me because like if you take the best parts of all the singles and put them into one song, I would just kind of sit there like I was in a wind tunnel, like all the way pressed back to my chair, my mouth's open, like holy shit, I'm I'm having an out of body experience. And instead, I'm left with a bunch of parts that have yet to fit into a whole. And it's just it's sad knowing that like the potential is all there, but I have yet to get something that I'm truly like blown away by. This band has a potential. I'm hoping with the album whenever it comes out that nah, that may be this month actually, May. Um, but anyway, whenever it comes out, I'm hoping that there's a song on there that really, really strikes a chord with me. But we'll see. Time will tell. Either way, I think this is worth checking out. Like Jacob said, the best single so far, I feel.
So with that being said, let's get moving on to our next single. Light the Torch have a brand new song called Wilting in the Light. And I believe this also came with an album announcement that they have an album coming out soon-ish. If I don't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure this is coming with an album soon.
I'll investigate.
Yeah, Light the Torch, Howard Jones. We talked about him with Scion. Was that last month?
yeah.
God
Jeez.
damn, that feels like forever ago.
I was about to say, it
April.
feels like 2 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about him last month with Scion and The Blade, which is Howard Jones and Jared Dines. This is his main project, Light the Torch, and he sounds just as good as he did in that song. I feel like instrumentally, I appreciated The Blade more.
I
But
think so too.
But by no means is this a bad song. Howard's vocals, I think, have really grown on me. I also think that's in part due to the fact that this song leans way more into the clean vocals, which I think is where he shines. I don't love his harsher vocals. The chorus, in particular, where it just says over and over again in Howard's majestic voice, that's really what sold this song for me. Light the Torch were always a band that I thought was all right. Their 2018 album was just all right. I didn't love it. But I think if they lean more into the clean vocals with the heavier instrumentals and like they do get heavy in the breakdown.
Yeah.
They absolutely let it rip in the breakdown. But I feel like the cleans work better for me.
I will say, album coming out June 25th.
Yeah.
You will be the
sick.
death of me. Apparently the drummer for Whitechapel is also the new drummer for this band.
That's like two
Interesting.
sides of a very interesting coin. When am I getting blast beats on a Light the Torch song? I want it. I want it ASAP.
So I actually
Yeah.
think I disagree with Jake. For this band, I like I like Howard's uncleans more. I do like his cleans, but I feel like it's like too much candy.
Yep.
And
Yep,
if there's
it's too
much-
epic.
It's if there's, no, it's like if there's too much of it.
Oh, yeah, too much of a
don't
good
like
thing. Yeah, yeah,
It's,
no,
it almost
I'm
it's like too power metal esque, and that's I think the thing I didn't like about Kill Switch Engage.
mhm.
It's too. What do you call it? Regular metal? I don't know what the term. I don't know what.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. There's a very like epic, powerful delivery that goes with a lot of like maybe not necessarily Metallica, but like when you think traditional metal,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And in like you know what, you put it perfectly. It's too much of a good thing. In short bursts, it's great. If I have to hear it for a whole song, I'm not quite as sold on it. Like his Howard Jones's talent is undeniable, but like it's almost too much for me in this band in general, and just like for this, I don't know. This is crossing more into the. Yeah, actually, you know what? Never mind. You put everything perfectly. I'm
That rarely happens.
I'm yielding my time and deferring all questions, comments, concerns to Jacob. He's got me on this one.
All right, seems like no questions. Let's move on then.
No comments or
This is the
concerns.
truth.
Justin, take the wheel.
Yes. So there's a band I've been a little bit excited about within the past week. Envied by Angels put out a new song called Foe. They actually put out a cover of Flyleaf's All Around Me, and that's how I found that they had released a new song, also because of Dreambound, because Dreambound is all powerful. And I think they are this year's speech patterns for me. I think they're my new obsession. Or last year's Loveless this year, I guess. I don't know. Either way,
It's the band. It's one of those bands that you discover and you're just hooked immediately.
yeah, and
basically.
the song is fucking great. I'm a huge fan of it. Thoughts?
I was just gonna say it's got kind of like a. It's that style of vocal delivery that you get from like Sleeping with Sirens or Pierce the Veil, almost that kind of like higher pitched male delivery, but like it's because of that, it's very nostalgic in a way, like this song is, I feel like, but it's got enough of like a unique modern flair to it that it's safe to make those comparisons without saying that, oh, this band sounds like those bands. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
the
And,
delivery style is there, but the band is unique in their own way.
And I also wasn't completely sold on this band on first listen.
Hmm.
But I rediscovered them, enjoyed the song more, and then I actually went back and listened to their Valor EP, their first EP they released, and man, that's good for a debut EP release for a band that only has 1,500 monthly listeners.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, I feel like I get these like small bands in my Discover Weekly that like have put out material, and it's like, man, like you can tell, like it very reflects that they're a smaller band and the way that they sound and like everything. It feels like on the podcast here, we've just gotten like small band after small band after small band that sounds amazing for where they're at.
I feel like between the four of us, we're able to like sniff out the good ones.
Yeah, exactly. What
Like,
I'm hearing is
between
we
the
got
four-
taste.
Yeah. I mean, if we didn't have taste, I don't know if we'd be doing this podcast. To be real,
Yeah,
but-
I'm just. I wake up in the morning. I hop on my Discover Weekly. I'm like, metalcore.
Bro, your mic has distorted so bad during that, which makes it infinitely funny.
My apologies. I got the worst mic in it.
Anyway, I think all that I want to add is that I feel like this is almost one of those cases where unclean vocals are forced when they don't need to be. I don't know if that's just me, but their Queen's vocalist is so talented. And not to put down their Unqueen's vocalist, but I think I would appreciate the song significantly more if it was
the same
just
guy.
him.
It's the same
guy?
Yeah, literally the same guy.
Did Jake just fall over in his chair?
No,
that man just died. Is he gone?
One of my CDs that I have hanging on my wall just fell over.
I was like, bro, you heard that guy was doing uncleans and he was like, he just died on the spot.
No, it's the same guy, and honestly, like, I agree, but that's why when I went to go listen to the cover they released last week as well, that's why I kind of fell into them, because that song is entirely Clean's, because it's a Flyleaf song, but like, you know, they definitely have some really good range. This vocalist does. I think it's just two guys. I've only seen
that's the impression I got.
The music video for this song only had the two of them, and that's kind of why I thought the other guy did the unclean vocals, because like in the video,
oh yeah,
they were, like,
in
switching
the video
between the two.
but I tried to find information on these guys. It's fucking nothing. I don't know. I know they were from they're American because they're from California, but like that's where the band started. But I have no idea on like how it started, when it started. Like there's no other information on this band.
Well, there's
And I
only
wanna
gonna be
know
so
more.
much information for a band with 1,500 monthly listeners.
They only
right?
have an Instagram though. They have a Facebook they haven't used since March, and there's like no information on it.
Well, see, I feel like that's a blunder. Like, if you're a smaller band, you got to have all the social medias out there to get stuff out. Like, even if not a lot of people follow it, everybody starts somewhere, right?
Yeah, I
know.
think that's something they probably are gonna hopefully work on if there's like
Yeah.
an album coming out.
Yeah,
this
so
year.
Everyone
you-
starts somewhere, just like us.
Jake, when are we starting
Yeah.
the Hivemind TikTok?
Yeah, unbelievable, Jake.
If any of you guys want to start it, I'm
not-
I'm
on
open to.
TikTok.
I'm not
can't,
touching TikTok with a 10-foot pole, bro.
I can't wait for us to get 3 million plays of Derek's mic distorting.
Dude, leave me alone.
Uh,
Oh, shit, man.
That's all I got. Jake, you're up.
yeah.
I was
Recording
gonna
a
say, I
podcast,
think after Justin insulted me so bad, my poor microphone, my ears might need some holy water. Speaking of holy water, we've got a new single from Zayd Wolf entitled, you guessed it, Holy Water.
I hate that that's just become the norm for fucked up transitions, where it's like mention the
love
name
it.
of the song title. Speaking of,
Oh
we
my
have a
goodness,
song
guys.
called that name.
Unrelated, but holy
Yeah.
shit.
I feel like you need to be
Completely-
crucified after that. I don't know.
Accidentally. Anyway, Holy Water, Zayd Wolf. This is more of the same that you're going to expect from Zayd Wolf. It's another stadium alt rock kind of anthem. And as per usual with this kind of stuff, it's a lot of what I appreciate in this genre is the groovy drum beats. I don't think this song extenuates it as much as previous songs like Madness has. But this is just another solid song from Zayd Wolf that, like, if you're into this type of sound, you're going to like this song. And if you're not into the sound, you're probably not going to like it. There's nothing really new to offer here. But yeah, that's basically all I got to say. Justin, I don't know if you have anything.
Nah, pretty much hit everything out. Zayd is the kind of getting a little bit stale for me, so I don't really have too much to add.
Fair enough. So, given the amount of music we have to talk about this month, let's zoom on ahead. We got Silverstein and their brand new song called Bankrupt.
Silverstein going hard.
Yup,
Silverstein went
hard.
hard on this one. That is true.
They went hard, and I'm honestly, I don't like it.
Oh,
I do. I think it's
I was
better.
gonna say,
I think it's more accessible than their. Well, no, maybe not their previous album, but stuff before that.
yeah, I agree.
I compare it to Madness from their last album, and I liked Madness because it was a perfect blend of cleans and uncleans. This one I think was just kind of overpowering with the amount of uncleans. Not to say he can't do them well. I think he does them fine, but and I didn't not like it, but like it's not something I'm gonna go back and replay and stuff.
I have a very interesting take on this song.
Oh
Hit me
boy,
We were
it-
talking about accessibility.
Okay.
I think the unqueens are more accessible than the queens in the chorus here.
I don't think I've ever heard you say those words in that sentence.
Because so when I'm listening to the song, I'm kind of vibing with the vocal delivery of the unqueen verses, and then it gets to the chorus, and it's one of those moments where you expect it to pound and it doesn't. It just like kind of hits and everything slows down to like 10 miles an hour. And that contrast in both the instrumentation and the vocals just does not work for me. Like, I think for me, when I listened to this song for the first time, the chorus was the thing that put me off more than anything else. And like, as someone that was maybe listening to Silverstein for the first time, and I'm into this type of music already, I'm listening to the verses and I'm into it. And then I get to the chorus and it just kind of throws me off. And like, I might never listen to it again. I don't know if that's completely off base.
No,
but
because I felt the exact same way the first time I listened to it. I listened to it more, and now I prefer the chorus to the
well,
verse.
yeah, the chorus has grown on me. I actively enjoy the song now, but I think like as a first time listener, this song
Yeah.
is going to put off a lot of people in the chorus and the Queen vocal delivery, which I think is just kind of abnormal.
Yeah, it's the tempo change.
Yeah,
Really. You know, I don't know. So this is my favorite Silverstein song. Like, I'm just gonna throw that one out there. I like this more than
It might be-
anything off that last album.
Might be mine as well. I need to. I think maybe.
I
Yeah.
might just be listening to Silverstein wrong in the case.
Man, I don't. Well, no, I liked everything off that last album. I think
Yeah.
this is like a step in the right direction, though. Like this is
Yeah,
this is
more-
reminiscent off of
metalcore Silverstein.
yeah. Well, this is some of
Silverstein's
like closer to
hardcore.
their older material, right? At least from what I know.
No.
I thought their old
Yeah.
material was a lot more punky than this.
Well, I meant in terms of like overall heaviness, not like
Oh.
metalcore style things. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
Like,
know.
I'm pretty sure. I think
I-
Dead
I-
Reflections was.
You sound right. I
They're
don't have a lot of history with this
I'm
I'm
band.
confident enough in my wrongness
their
that I
old
sound
stuff
right. Right?
reminds me of Hawthorne Heights.
Yeah, I feel like they were more like screamo back then, like emo screamo type thing.
Yeah. That's the.
I don't know
genre
if
name.
yeah, if, it felt like the Uncleans were missing a lot from like the last album, so this is kind of like a return to maybe not the screamo style thing, but like a general heaviness. Maybe I don't know. Either way, I really like this song. That main riff is fantastic. I think my favorite part of the song is actually that delivery, the second verse where it's "Hail to the King." Well, who's the
Yeah.
fucking king?
I actually have a point that I want to make on that verse.
Mhm.
Awake at Last, their song Purgatorium. I feel like that song has a very similar delivery to to that verse and just kind of the verses in general to this song. And considering Purgatorium is probably my favorite song from Awake at Last, or at least top 2, top 3,
Mhm.
I think that's why I like the verses so much. It just kind of is reminiscent of that for me. I don't know how to describe that type of sound, but
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I like the way it was varied and like it's like somebody in the crowd is like he's projecting onto a crowd. He's like, "Hail to the king," and somebody in the crowd is like, "Well, who's the fucking king?" Like it felt like it was slightly quieter in a way. That's the mental image I got. I don't know. It was very interesting listening to it. Overall, I think this is one of the better songs released this month, at least in
yeah,
my opinion.
this is solid. This is definitely solid for sure. Let's switch gears a bit. Half-Hearted have a brand new song featuring Gina Fritz called "Fun."
Is it fun?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Moving on.
Hey. This is a great song.
Real quick,
It's a fun song. It's also a great song.
Before we get super into it, Jacob, do you have Spotify open?
Yes.
I want you to play the first 10 seconds of this song, and I want you to tell me how you feel about it compared to Skin by Movements.
All right.
While
Jake,
the
go ahead.
scientific experiment is going on.
Tell me I'm wrong, bro.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
I was really
like,
expecting us to wait those 10 seconds.
No.
We had to wait 2 seconds for that one. That might be a Guinness World Record for fastest
I have
scientific experiment.
Spotify
in
open. I'm
history.
looking right at the playlist right now.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it freaks me out. Like it's eerily similar, but like maybe just the melody of it, like the tone's just a little bit different. It's like I don't know. This reference may be lost. You guys know how in like EDM, how somebody will put out a song and then they'll do like that song VIP, and it's like
Yeah.
a variance in production. That's what this intro like melody sounds like. It's like Skin to Skin by Movements VIP. It's really weird. I heard it and I was like, what am I listening to? Did Movements make its way into the playlist? I'm like, oh no, it's Half-Hearted. With that said, I'm glad that you also like this. This to me continues the trend from Half-Hearted for every single song we've gotten since that last album, where I like it. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It's just not my favorite. You know?
Yeah. I think similar to Seeing in Color, which we talked about back in February, this song is missing that oomph in the chorus. When they add that extra energy in the chorus, this band really shines. And the more I listen to this song, the more I think like the low-key chorus instrumentation works. But I do think that increasing the tempo, increasing the energy would have done this song some favors. Because this song starts out like, the way this song opens up with the riff and the feature with Gina, it's so like fun.
Mhm.
Pun intended.
Wow.
And then you get to the chorus and it kind of drops off some of that fun energy. It still works, but it kind of drops off some of that energy that if you keep it going through the song, this would have been on replay throughout the month, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree wholeheartedly. Or maybe half-heartedly. Who knows?
Hey,
Yeah.
Before we move on, one last shout out to Gina Fritz on the feature. She did a
Yes,
great job
absolutely.
here.
Great feature.
Fantastic feature. And also great job on Half Hearted for spicing up the feature by throwing it right at the opening. Like that was very unexpected and very
Yeah.
strange. Like you don't see that every day where a song opens with the feature. But anyway, let's move on to Foxblood and their brand new song called This Town Needs Guns.
Awful.
Interesting. Okay.
Awful song.
I don't think I'll disagree because the lyricism on this song is interesting to say the least. I don't entirely know what it's trying to get at with This Town Needs Guns. But this song is so far from what I have expected Foxblood to be. From their album Grief and Mercy Sweep to the past couple of songs we've talked about in the recent months, this is so far gone from anything that they have ever done before. It's like almost math rock, and then you get a fucking sax at the end. And I was so thrown off by this song to the point where like the shock factor almost made me enjoy this song. And I still think that I do enjoy this song, but it's missing kind of that specialty that some of their other songs have had that have made me really enjoy this band. I'm just very curious to see if this influences their sound on other upcoming singles or if this is more of a one-off. Now, Jacob, if you have anything else you want to say, floor is yours.
Yeah, just in general, I haven't really liked anything any Foxblood songs we've talked about on the show. I don't know.
Just not your style.
I guess
Well, I think it's
not.
fair. They have a very distinct vocal delivery, which I think can be off-putting for some people, but it works for me. So, yeah, I don't know if there's too much more to say here.
It's kind of
So-
like the delivery is kind of like I want to say The Devil Wears Prada.
Interesting. We'll get to that one later, I guess.
Yeah.
I think we're good to move on, unless you have anything else you want to say.
No, I'm good. Unless Justin.
Solence is back. They have a brand new song called Deafening. And I think for once in a long time, first of all, reset the counter to 0. Podcast without mentioning Solence 0.
We did 1 month. 1 month.
Yeah.
there wasn't a break, and there isn't going to be.
Yeah. But there isn't going to be a break. But there is, at the tip of the iceberg, this song ain't that bad. Solent has made an actually decent song.
I like it.
Sounds
No, go ahead.
nothing like Solent has released before. At least what I'm familiar with.
This is much more reminiscent to their debut album sound
Yeah.
and some pieces of that EP last year. But everything about this song just feels so fresh compared to what they have released over the past year. The instrumentation, I think, is top notch. You get some sick guitar work and drum work in the chorus. And you get a little bit of a letdown of a breakdown. It's like not even 10 seconds of a breakdown.
Yeah.
Which is a little disappointing. But like overall, considering that we haven't been the kindest to Solence on this podcast in the past, like I am happy to report that we are not shitting on this band today.
Yes, it is a step in the right direction.
Every band
we've-
gets one.
Exactly. We've reset the days without talking about Solence meter, and we're not unhappy about it.
Yeah.
which is a win in and of itself.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Gonna be talking about them next month, so stick
We'll see.
around.
That means it's up to them to keep making songs that aren't bad.
Yeah.
How awkward
We'll see
would
if
it
they
be
can do it.
if Solence wanted to do Hivemind after hours with us?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, what do you think? They go back and they're like, what do these guys have to think about our past material? And they're like, this fucking sucks. And it's like, oh, hey guys, I'm suddenly busy on that day you wanted to meet.
No, they don't even respond. They just block us.
Yeah, we're just instantly blocked. Ghosted by Solence.
Anyway, this song is definitely a step in the right direction, and I hope they keep up with it in their future singles. I don't feel like there's anything special to mention here. It just weans back into the sound that I think we all enjoyed from Solence, which is that debut album.
Yes, absolutely. Jake,
Moving on.
There are 1,000 reasons to like this next song.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's Hivemind in full effect. I had to do it first. It had to be done.
You had to make up for the holy water
about it. Yeah, exactly. Man, look, I gotta redeem myself somehow. Loveless are back with a new single entitled 1,000 Reasons.
I'll give you credit on that transition because that was definitely better than whatever the hell you did with Holy Water.
Yo, like I said, it's my redemption arc.
Yeah, you balanced out the scale.
No matter what transition you do, this song is 100 times better. Or like,
yeah,
1,000,
exactly.
I guess, for whatever.
Yeah, you had a perfect opportunity there. Come on.
I am proud to report that we have been talking about Loveless since they released Someone Else in August. And it has always been consistently good. But for the first time, Loveless has released my favorite song of the week. And I could not be happier to say that. This song fucks.
This is the best Loveless song.
By far, no question. Hands down. This song's amazing.
Second favorite.
Yep,
You're
mine
wrong.
too. Mine too. My second favorite.
This is the only one that made it into my playlist.
Every Loveless song has made it into my playlist. This has by far been my favorite one. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the massive chorus that this song has to offer. Yeah. Julian does wonders with his vocals in the chorus. It is so powerful and emotional. Not to mention instrumentally, this leans more into their heavier side of post-hardcore pop punk kind of aesthetic, and it's just executed perfectly.
I feel like this is kind of an evolution of Better, because Better kind of had the same structure that 1,000 Reasons has, but I feel like Julian is a lot more expressive in his vocal delivery in this. That just makes it sound much better.
My mom likes this song.
Oh yeah, that's the true test. Is if your mom likes one of the songs that we talk about in this podcast. No, that really is though. I mean, like that's a testament to, I guess, like Julian's like in pop sensibility mixed with the more like hard aspects of this band. I guess you could say. I don't know. It being your favorite, I'm glad that you finally like a Loveless song. For me, this is second behind Haunting Me.
Second behind Lighthouse for me.
What we can all agree on, I feel like, is that this album needs to come out.
The fact that this song is consistently either our favorite or our second favorite song from Loveless.
Yes.
It's coming out June the 4th, and
I think that's a testament to how good
this song is. Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a fantastic album, for sure.
All right, we need to start listing your 1,000 reasons why it's going to be a fantastic album.
Number one.
All right, so Jacob, since it's your idea, you can start. You know,
I'll start with number one, and then.
Okay, and then you can do number two.
I'll go next,
and then I'll go grab a drink.
Or two or three,
and then you have to pay to get Justin's.
Yeah, exactly. Justin's reasons are behind a paywall.
I love how that's kept going on since January.
That is an open wound, you fuckers. You need to stop that bleeding now.
Anyway, Jacob, number one. One, Jacob. Number one, please.
Yeah, he's done. He's done.
You were gonna say number one. Sorry.
No.
That's why he said Jacob. Hello.
Why are we still on this?
Get me out. Get me out.
Number one is this song. Number two is, I don't know.
Yo,
Number
Justin, I
15.
really no
Burger
stop,
King
stop.
Fox.
I've had enough. I really appreciated Justin's earlier transition
Yeah,
or
no, me
attempt at
too.
one.
Thank
Let's
you.
stop the bleeding. Let's stop the bleeding and move
Thank
on.
Oh, man.
Wolves the gate, stop the bleeding.
What the hell was that transition? Good lord.
It was, bro, it was better than anything else.
Dude,
we ride.
We just ruined that.
At least I
album.
tried. I
Yo, Julian come out punching the air right now. He's like, man, the album's delayed another month. Fuck you guys.
All right, so I'm gonna keep quiet about this one. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this song.
Derek, you start, because I think we might have a similar opinion on this one.
Okay, it's about as good as some of the mid-tier material off of Eclipse. The intro riff and vocal. No, I didn't expect to go first, and now I'm just like, But no, I like this. The intro, like that intro vocal instrumental riff combination thing, fantastic. I like this better than I guess some of the like what I would consider lower tier material off of Eclipse. I mentioned it on the night it released, but like the structure of this and some of the sound of it reminds me of like a Beartooth song.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping you were gonna bring up.
Yeah,
This song kind of feels like Beartooth Light.
Yeah,
Actually,
and like
now that you say that, it does.
yeah, and
now
that's
I
not
don't like it.
necessarily yeah. Well, I was just about to say it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just left kind of like indifferent about it. Like there are parts of this that I really enjoy. There are parts of it, and there are more parts of it, I guess I should say, that I'm just kind of okay with. So if this is like a lead single, I don't mind it as a song in general. I'm not as happy if this is a lead single.
Yeah, I feel
That
like
makes sense.
I think the guys from Fit for a King helped write this.
Oh, that explains why it's so bad.
What? There's no need.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love Fit for a King.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna say I was just kidding. The song isn't bad. He was like, no, just kidding. I like Fit for a King. No, overall, I mean, good song. I've heard better both in general and from this band.
Yep.
Interested to see what further songs released from this band for this next album cycle sound like. Hopefully it's a little bit different than this and has a bit more of its like own identity rather than being able to be like easily compared to another band. We'll see. Time will tell.
I think this song is missing a bit of the flair that some of the best songs on Eclipse had. This feels kind of just staple Wolves at the Gate, Beartooth Light. However you want to phrase it.
I agree. I'm the person who's probably more into this band than anyone here, and I feel like this song is definitely made for live shows and mosh pits and all that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but like everyone in the band can do uncleans, which is fucking weird.
I didn't notice that actually.
Yeah. I think the main uncleans vocalist is the one who does it, but I think everyone kind of contributes throughout the song. But in general, I'm just gonna kind of echo what you guys said. I adore more emotional, slower Wolves at the Gate. Blessings and Curses. Enemy was also really good. There was the Cure is probably the best way to incorporate uncleans in their kind of more emotional tone. But overall, I feel like if this is part of an album cycle, this is probably going to be on the lower end of the album for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping this isn't the direction they're going to be going. Because the rest of their previous albums had sounded a lot slower than this. Did have a different message for obvious reasons, but I don't know. I'm optimistic, but this isn't my favorite.
That's about where I'm at too.
Yep.
We'll see. Cautiously optimistic.
Another thing that I'm cautiously optimistic about is One Morning Left. They have a new album coming out soon, but let's talk about their brand new song called Creatures with a V. I don't know why it's Creativers, but
because they wanted to be different than Motionless in White.
Maybe.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I feel like okay. So real quick, this is kind of I guess kind of a tangent, but like I feel like it's almost better to not distinguish yourself. Like if you put the U in there, It's like somebody's searching up for Creatures by Motionless in White,
Mm.
and then this pops up as well, and it's like, oh, well, I may as well listen to, because I've had plenty of songs that I found searching for a different song, and I'm like, oh, is this a cover? And then it's a separate song entirely. So just a thought. I really, the more I think about it now, the less this V makes sense. But whatever, I don't care, because they finally put out a song with personality again, and I dig it.
Oh.
Sir, that is so true. This is their second best song behind Neon Highway for sure.
Mhm.
It's not particularly close. The gap between these two and the other songs that we've been talking about the past few months that have not impressed us. I think this song stands out because it leans more into their Queen's vocalist. He carries basically the entire song outside of like one verse, where their unqueen vocalist comes in, and he does like some backing screams and whatever. But as you said, the song just has that personality, which a lot of their other songs have kind of lacked in recent memory.
Yeah, there was like right around like the midway point of the song, there was this electronic like synth solo that was very reminiscent of like Empire of the Sun by Solence. Like I feel like that was the biggest like comparison I could draw, and I was like, man, like I am digging this.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when this song came out, and I was like, I'm digging this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, especially considering, like you mentioned before, we just kind of felt okay about it after being kind of teased with the potential of this band with the first we
Yeah.
talked about them in Neon Highway.
I do not like the song at all.
Man.
That's fair. That's
I feel
fair.
Like I've said that a lot this month.
Well,
So
you know what? No,
pessimistic.
I don't even blame you, because like me overall, like this song to me is just kind of okay, but I don't even care, because I'm just happy that we've got something that's different from this band as opposed to the 2010s crabcore-esque generic stuff that we've gotten for the past two singles. I am happy to report I've never been happier to just like a song. Right? Like anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if there's too much more to say here. So let's move on then. Of Mice and Men have a brand new song out called Bloom.
Guys, this is my favorite of my cement song.
Guys, this is my
Ever?
least favorite of Mice and Men song.
What? Wow.
I had to take the chance, okay?
That's fair.
Yeah, this song just did not click with me the way any of the three songs from their Obsolete EP did. Maybe that'll change, but I don't know. It just didn't click with me.
Timeless EP.
Timeless, right? I forget that it's
I
called
wonder-
Timeless because Obsolete is the only song that I've really gone back
I was
to.
gonna say, I wonder what Jake's favorite song off that EP is.
Right.
Yeah.
So is, just out of curiosity, is this song and the last EP the only of my cement exposure you've had?
No.
Yes.
No, I was talking about Jake.
Oh yeah.
I know not for you.
I listened.
I was about to
I
say.
listened to like maybe one or two. What was there? 2018 Earth and Sky.
Earth and Sky.
I might have listened to one or two songs off of that. But
Oh, that's
that
definitely
was, like,
not. That's definitely not a.
That is
big part.
all that I have ever heard of them before. So I'm
This is-
basically going into this band blind with this new series of EPs that they're doing.
This Bloom is very like Restoring Force-esque.
Yep.
Uh huh.
I feel like
Say-
it's
I agree.
similar
with,
to
what's the other-
Anchor.
Yep, there you go.
Anchor. Yeah. Which I am completely fine with. I mean, Aaron Pauli really demonstrating that Austin Carlisle was just not needed. Like I appreciate the older material, but I feel like this band is just better than ever. Like they've been able to like forge a new path, but also call back to some of their older material from when Austin was there and do it just as well, if not better. I will echo Jake in a way. I think that this is my least favorite of the four of the quote unquote like new EP era. But with that said, it's still a really good song. Like there's just a lot to love here, especially with the atmosphere that this band creates, with the rain and just the drummer really is the highlight of this song, and I feel like
I
the last
agree.
EP as well. I mean, it just with all the elements that are here, it really feels like they've created something special and different. That like I've heard of Mice and Men a million times, but it still feels like every song that they've got recently has its own like unique identity to it. My favorite part of this song is actually the bit right before the chorus where he goes, "Have they ever spent the night screaming at the sky?" And then like right before the chorus, there's a faint asking why. in the background that gets screamed.
Mhm.
I loved that bit. Yeah.
I will say the instrumentals, the chorus, and especially the startup, like the build up to the song, are my favorite parts of the song. I feel like if the uncleans were, I feel the lyrics in the song are amazing. Like if you actually
Mm-hmm.
look at the lyrics and stuff, they did a really good job with that. I feel like the uncleans went on a bit too long in this. I feel like if you had given them a few more, like given the cleans to kind of breathe a little bit more instead of just retreating it to the opening of the song and the chorus, I feel like the song would have been better, at least better received. This still somehow is one of my most replayed songs of this month, and I have no idea why. I'll probably still be saying Anchor is probably going to be my favorite of the cycle after this
Yep.
month is over. But like for now, I've been really vibing to the song somehow.
We'll see. We'll see. I think new EP is end of this month, start of
Yeah.
June.
Yeah,
One of the
May
two.
25th, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's right.
that means we're probably gonna get another single next week. Because I know they said another one was coming out before the next EP, so
Mhm.
fingers crossed. Either
Oh,
way,
that means May 14th is even going to be more loaded. Okay.
yeah. I mean, all this to say that this band really, at this point, I feel like can do no wrong. They've hit their stride in the best possible way, and I'm very excited for the next couple EPs and whatever comes next. Speaking, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're pretty much going to say what I was going to say.
I was gonna say, speaking of a band that is back in the best possible way, Monument of a Memory are back with their new single "Seeking Somewhere."
This song is a
this-
chef's kiss.
This
I
was
think
a
this is the
huge
best.
surprise. This is a huge surprise for me. I had never heard of this band. I hear this for the first time, and I am in love with every aspect of this song.
It's
Like the vocals, both the
Mhm.
clean vocals and the harsh vocals.
Yup.
The opening with like the synth bit in the background is sick as fuck. Instrumentally, like the drum work, the guitar, like everything about this song is fantastic. One of my favorite songs of the month for sure.
They took a break from releasing for new stuff for 4 years, and they come back better than ever.
Yeah,
Derek,
this is what's up.
I want to know if this reminds me of a specific band, and I want to know if
Okay.
Now and on Earth.
Ooh. I'm gonna give you a mostly yes. I had Dead by April written down.
Dead by April, yeah. Well, Dead by April is heavier.
Yeah. Although I will say the main
I
Dead by
think Jacob
April
is
song.
closer.
Yeah. Yeah, now that is a band that needs to come back. Now on Earth.
Yeah.
New material.
They're
It's been 6
Canadian,
years, they're
too.
probably gone. I thought they were British.
I thought they were Canadian. I'm pretty sure they're
All
Canadian.
right, hold on. We're gonna settle the score. I'll find out. I mean, either way, like this is a great note to come back on, right? Like, this is probably my favorite of their material that I've heard. Justin, how are you feeling about it? Okay, good.
Yeah, no, this is a great return to form. If this is how their sound is going to be now that they're back, like feed it directly into my bloodstream. I cannot get enough of the song.
Also, I stand corrected. Now and on Earth is Canadian. They're out of Montreal.
Nah,
Nice.
that's why.
What do you mean? That's why they broke up.
They're Frenchies.
they're gone because they're Canadian.
They're French Canadians.
Damn French Canadians. My favorite
How the hell
subset of
did
the
we get
genre,
there?
French Canadian metalcore. Oh man, dude. Yeah. Monument of a Memory. They're back. Go check them out. Excited for this album cycle. Please give me more. I'm begging you. Defenses are also back with their new
something
single,
more.
Something More.
So I've been a big fan of Defenses ever since I found them last year. Their EP, Thoughts That Keep You Awake, was in contention for one of my favorite EPs of last year. In saying that, I don't feel like this song hits the same strides that EP does. I feel like for whatever, it's just not clicking with me. in the same way that most of that EP did last year. And I really can't explain why, because it has all the same elements. Her vocals are as good as ever. The unclean vocals are, I feel like, a little bit more pronounced in the song. This song definitely leans more into the heavier side of this band. And he definitely has a very unique way of screaming. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's probably the biggest thing that puts you guys off from this song, from what I'm aware of.
Yeah, he does have a unique, like, unclean vocal, well, maybe not necessarily unique, but less common, I feel like, style. But at the same time, this song also feels like something I've heard a bunch before. I can't really place it. Maybe it's the structure of the way that, like, the song itself is presented, but I didn't hate it. It's like it's not on the ground. Like, it was my least favorite song or single of the week, like, full disclosure. And it's not on the grounds that it was bad. It's just that, like, nothing stuck out as memorable to me, and so I'm just kind of left like, oh, I heard this. Moving on. Right? Like, nothing here hooks me and it makes me want to come back, which is not what I want to be able to say about a song, you know?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't know if I have too much more to add. I feel like I've kind of aired out my thoughts on
I
this
feel
song.
like this is one of those bands that got their name from the dartboard.
As opposed to the next band we're talking about? Two?
What do you mean? What's wrong with their name?
I don't know.
Is that our transition to the next song?
Yeah,
That's
sure,
our
go for it.
transition, sure. All right. Attack are back with 2 new singles, Kawaii Cowboys and Brachyura Bombshell.
You mean Bar Mitzvah Bombshell?
Dude, not the bar mitzvah, the Brontosaurus Bombshell.
Derek, the floor is yours to speak on Kawaii Cowboys.
1, 2, 3, hey.
All right,
All right,
next song?
fellas. Yeah, next song.
Brachyura Bombshell.
Dude.
Do you have anything more to say on Kawaii Cowboys?
Well, I was just gonna say that, like, Kawaii Cowboys is one of the more unique bits of music I've heard this year, even though it's only 43 seconds, and it's in my top 20 most played songs of the year. Like, I'm out of control.
That's so cursed.
Dude, it is. There's like, there is no reason really why I should enjoy this as much as I did. I heard it for the first time, and I haven't been able to put it down since.
I
Like,
cannot believe I listened to this song a bunch of times when Derek told me to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is this?
1, 2, 3, hey.
Hey.
What is this? And then I was listening to it yesterday, and I'm just like, this is not. I think I just hated it because of the name.
It's you hated the concept.
Yeah.
This is this
I'm
the epitome of a
ashamed that I
guilty
like
pleasure
this
song?
Yeah.
Is this the epitome of a guilty
It is.
pleasure
Yeah, it
song?
is.
It's a guilty pleasure.
It is.
Fantastic.
There's no reason I should like this as much as I do, but damn it, I love it. I think Bill Murray prepped me for this moment when he put the steel guitar in that breakdown. And Rich Sips. I was waiting for the metalcore country fusion in this. By God, I got given it by Bill Murray Light effectively at this point. Yeah, steel guitar unstoppable in metalcore. Forget violin. I need more bands with steel guitars.
Well, you can't say that. No, you can't.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Brachyura Bombshell is more of like a return to
You
form
mean Babadook
for
Bombshell?
Babadoo. Stop.
It's just gonna be a different name every time we say it.
Exactly. Bro, I can't believe it. It just hit me. I said Brontosaurus. I could have just said Brachiosaurus, and it would have worked. I'm pissed. I failed myself. Anyway, this is like a return to form for Attack in a sense. Like, all my life was just kind of like whatever. This like has crabcore elements, and the vocalist's delivery is strangely like Caleb Shomo-esque. Like, the way that his inflection on the uncleans, I think it's in the first verse, I was like, the fuck? Like, it's almost a dead ringer for at least the vocal delivery style of Caleb Shomo. It's strange. It really is. But they're back in full force with the material that I feel like everybody wanted to hear when Attack came back, you know, as opposed to All My Life. I feel like they maybe tested the waters with
Just
All
the-
My Life getting put
Just
out
the
first.
title of that song sounds like
Yeah,
a Falling in Reverse song.
Exactly.
It
A Falling in Reverse song.
Yeah, it does. And the song sounds like a half-assed Falling in
Oh, you
Reverse
mean All
song.
My Life?
Yeah. I'm not talking
I
about
thought
this
you
song.
meant this, and I'm like,
no,
what the fuck?
I love this song. No. I'm talking about All My Life.
I like that distinction. No, this can't be Falling in Reverse. I love this song. No, I'm really vibing with these two way more than I was all my life, and like suddenly I'm like, oh, I want the new Attack Attack album rather than I'll take it or leave it if it all sounds like All My Life. This is what I want from Attack Attack.
What is a Bionicle Bombshell?
I have absolutely no idea. Let me see hold on. Well, I looked this up. Jake, Justin, do you guys have any thoughts on this?
I thought this was all right. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. At times,
think
it
it's
almost felt like it was hitting that boundary of like, how heavy will I go, which might feel a little strange because it's not terribly
You gotta
heavy,
be
but at
fucking kidding
times,
me. I'm really sorry. Brachyura is the scientific name for crab.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Oh my god!
I can't believe it.
I'm so glad you looked that up.
Bro, and the music video for this too is like the members of Attack Attack like getting into a robot crab and like defeating Godzilla or something.
God damn it!
It's very interesting. I'm sorry, continue. I was so upset by I googled it and a picture of a crab came up and I thought, fuck. What's up?
They're embracing the memes, aren't they?
Yeah. It's either gonna end really well or really poorly for them. Because that means that they're acknowledging the fact that people want crabcore. So that's like, now they're saying, all right, we'll deliver it, which they did with this song. We'll see if it continues. I wouldn't be surprised if All My Life gets cut from the album, to be quite honest. I would not put it past them. I think that they put that out as a feeler. People said, it's whatever I want more crabcore. And they're like, all right, we got you. All My Life, scrapped. All that money down the drain. We're putting out crabcore only.
Yeah, I think I don't really have too much more to add. I thought the chorus was solid. Breakdown was pretty sick, but it just didn't fully click with me, so I haven't gone back to it all that much.
Do you prefer Kawaii Cowboys?
Honestly, maybe.
It's the correct answer.
What I prefer to both of those songs is this brand new song from Nevertell called "Know My Loneliness."
Yeah, I was excited to hear you say those words.
Yup.
It's close. No, I can't say it. I was gonna say this is my favorite song of the month, but I can't go that far. In saying that, the fact that I'm considering saying that this is my favorite song of the month, I think says more than anything else that I'm about to say.
We're on the right path.
Yeah, this is by far my favorite Nevertell song. It's not close. Similar to what I've said in the past couple of episodes with Sad Looks Pretty on Me from Rivals, having Talk to a Friend energy. This song also has similar levels of Talk to a Friend energy. I think it's funny how Talk to a Friend has just become a scale of how good a song is.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that emotional chord. This song just hits it perfectly for me. I haven't resonated to lyrics from a song so quickly in a while. Like there are very few songs this year where I have resonated with the lyrics and they have clicked with me and I have like understood them like after the second listen. Like it's like Hostage by Normandy and like Sad Looks Pretty on Me and this. Like it's a tight club of songs that I have clicked with as fast as I have this one. And I have not been able to put this song down all month.
This is my favorite single from them. By far, not even close.
Second
love it.
favorite.
What's your favorite?
Everything in my mind.
Oh, okay. That'd probably be my second. Yeah, I don't know. There's just great melodies, right? Like great vocal delivery. The instrumentals.
Yeah, the vocal delivery and the chorus just gets me every time.
Yeah.
Bro.
The instrumentals, I feel like aren't anything like necessarily special, but I feel like they really help the vocals flow in a way that like adds to the song.
This song, the key to this song is the vocals. The instrumentation doesn't need to shine for this song to be amazing, and I think they probably recognized that, and it just worked.
Yeah, Raul, the Clean's vocalist, really shined in this song. And honestly, if if there wasn't so much of a whiplash in All I Need and Back on Me, those would be a lot more in contender between that and No My Lone List. But because
Mhm.
Raul was just able to just go all out in something like this, no questions. This is better than those.
I think another thing that the song has going for it is just the replay value, because this song is 3 minutes and 21 seconds. When I listen to this song does not feel like a 3-minute song. This feels like a 2-minute, 30-second song almost, with how fast it goes by in each listen. And I think part of that is extenuated by the like kind of long fade out at the end of it. But you're in and out of this song so fast. Like, no time is wasted anywhere in this song. And just that replay factor on top of everything else has made this one of my favorite songs of the month.
That's all I got.
Speaking of one of my favorite songs of the month, what was not one of my favorite songs of the month was this new single from Beartooth called Elephant.
I was wondering if you would go that far as to say that, but no, you actually have taste still.
Yes. It's okay. Look, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just not good. It's there. It's just there.
And it's also just following in the footsteps of The Past Is Dead, which is arguably my favorite Beartooth song ever.
Yeah. No, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, I don't know. It's just like the other two singles were like, oh, okay, Beartooth is 2 for 2. I'm very excited for this album, and I hear that. And frankly, I think the breakdown ruins it. And I thought it might be because it's obviously it's got the trash can lid bang, anvil clank, whatever that Landmarks did in Rainfall. And I went back to Rainfall, and I actually really enjoy that breakdown.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, maybe with some time, I'll revisit this, and I might like it.
You gotta hear it on the
I gave it some time. Yeah. For like personally, I gave it some time. I re-listened to it, and I'm like, man, the problem is that the clink is just kind of like there in the background. Like, at least if you're gonna do it, embrace it, put it at the forefront. Maybe it'll be able to hit harder the more time I wait. Give it some time to mellow. It feels too quiet and too out of place. I feel like if that clank wasn't there and this breakdown was just slightly different, I would really like the song. I feel like, but as it stands, I'm just left kind of like, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. I'm so excited.
For me, this song kind of just dropped the ball in the chorus. This chorus is just not that great, especially compared to both The Past Is Dead and Devastation, which I thought had solid choruses. This one just doesn't do much for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like the opening riff of this song is sick as fuck. But I feel like that's like you get past that almost shock factor, and then you're into the rest of the song, and it's more the same old of what you expect from Beartooth, and the chorus just isn't up to the par of some of their better material, and it's just kind of take it or leave it, I think is a good way to put it.
Also, disclaimer, when Caleb Shomo says welcome back, you couldn't resist, he's wrong. I had to do it. I had to listen to this song for the podcast. It's not because I wanted to. It's not because I couldn't resist.
There you go. You're wrong, Caleb Shomo. I want to resist. Oh, man.
What you don't need to resist. Maybe you would even go far as to say you were tempted by this next one. Imminence is back. I mean, to be fair, they have not been quiet over the past year, but they are back with a brand new single called Temptation.
What was that?
We got Yoda in this bitch. From Sweden, they are.
The temptation really got to us all there.
Oh, man.
Jacob made the funny noise and we couldn't resist.
Yes. Great funny noise, Jacob. Well done.
God, we're children.
Help. Send help. This is so good.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like Imminence is one of those bands that there are very few bands that the four of us are all collectively very high on, and I think Imminence is one of them.
Yep.
But you throw that into a club with like Dayseeker, Slaves.
Yeah.
Arguably, I think even Stand Atlantic at this point. Arguably.
Well, Jake, you and me are on the same boat, buddy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, you guys have been talking decent about Stand Atlantic over the past couple months, so
We'll get to
whatever.
that. We'll get to that.
We'll get there.
I think I want to start by saying I have generally not been a fan of heavier Imminence. I feel like when I first heard Turn the Light On, the heaviest songs on that album were generally my least favorites.
I agree. They are the Sickness.
Yeah, I agree.
And I can't remember the other one.
Yeah, no, I agree as well.
But this comes around, and I enjoyed this top to bottom. This is heavy Imminence done right.
Now, given you like this song, what does it give your impression of the other songs off of Turn the Light On?
I'm going to need to go back and re-listen to that. That's one of the albums that I am due a re-listen for at this point, because I feel like when I first discovered Imminence, when we all listened to that album in 2019, I wasn't ready for this sound of metalcore at the time, almost. Now that I'm like almost 2 years past that album release.
Now that we've popped your metalcore cherry.
Stop. Why would you put it like that? Yo, Justin is going into timeout. I want you, Justin, I need you to find the nearest wall, take off your headset. I want you to look at the nearest wall, 5 minutes, think about what you've said, come back, ready to reflect and apologize.
I'm not thinking about what I said. It's there.
They don't even want to put. We don't even want to put that behind a dono wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't know what I said? Pay for it on Patreon.
No. If you don't know what he said, it's because it was cut. There's no amount of paywall can fix that. Oh God.
No regrets.
Order in the court.
Oh, man.
I think I am due for a re-listen of Turn the Light On, because I think now that I know what a good Heavy Imminence song sounds like, I will appreciate Turn the Light On more. And I feel like over the past year and a half since that album came out, I feel like my music taste has changed to a point where I will be able to appreciate that album more just in general. So that's all.
So I just want to highlight the breakdown that comes out of nowhere in the second verse.
Yeah.
That is my favorite thing. I also realized I'd like that a lot in songs. Like Erase Me by Make Them Suffer and Impermanence by Architects are two that come to mind. But
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's just this in general, I feel like is, I may even say, I'm going to go out on a wing here, their best song, if not their second best behind Infectious.
Yes.
That's how I'm feeling.
I don't know. Erase is still hella repeatable for me, but I can.
Like number 3.
Unlike other opinions that we've had, I feel like I can respect that one.
Point with Imminence where I feel like I just consistently enjoy a lot of their material, but I don't have a clear favorite.
That's a good thing to have. As long as you enjoy them, you can tolerate their kind of music. I think you're fine.
They're just so unique.
So
yeah, that violin is just it really makes them stand out.
I feel like this is gonna be like this song is gonna be like impossible for Eddie to sing and play it live.
Yeah, it gives me. I mean, frankly, a lot of what this band does gives me that vibe, because to me, it's like no one man should be able to be that talented. Like, it's unfair to the rest of us, right? Like, if he can do all that live at the same time, hats off to him. But I mean, even if he couldn't, I am perfectly fine knowing that we'll get whatever live version and something this good to listen to on streaming services. You know, I'd almost rather it not be attainable live in exchange for something that it's like euphoric to listen to. Does that make sense? Like, I am happy to give up the live version if I can get something to listen to regularly that is amazing. But again, if this can get pulled off live, I'll believe it when I'll see it, and my jaw will probably hit the floor.
Yeah.
Just need that North America tour.
Yeah, any day now, guys. Come on over. Bring Normandy with you while you're at it. Like, just get
Normandy,
all 3
Caskets.
That's what I'm saying.
Solens. Oh, I thought we were listing bands from Sweden.
No.
No. IS Casket's famous in Swedish.
Yeah.
Speaking of bands that are back, The Devil Wears Prada have returned with the lead single off the Zombie 2 EP entitled Termination. Jacob,
I
tell me how you
want to
feeling.
like this song. I really do. But
What is it for you? What's holding you back?
I don't know exactly.
I was hoping we were on the same page.
Because it's not that it's too heavy, because there's songs like The Thread on the Act
Right.
that I love. I don't know. I love the Zombie EP, don't get me wrong. I love the Act. That's like my favorite Devil Wears Prada album.
Mm-hmm.
But this song is not doing it for me.
Instrumentally, this song is fantastic.
Oh, it's the vocals.
Yep. I have tried so hard. I've listened to 3 The Devil Wears Prada albums as well as the Zombie EP. And the Zombie EP I've listened to multiple times because like it's got legendary status at this point. And by God, I just can't get into the vocals. I love the what is it called? Sour Breath, that cover that they did.
That
is wonderful,
Yep.
amazing. There's even some stuff off the Act that I enjoy, but just overall this vocal delivery is not clicking with me.
I don't know. I love the Act. Like it was like top 4, top 5 album of what year was that? 2019?
Yes.
And this is kind of similar sounding, but it just doesn't stick with me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that there's another single, right,
There's a
coming
single
out.
next week.
Okay, yeah,
And
May
they're doing a
14th.
live stream.
Because
Sometime.
the Zombie EP, it's out at the end of May, right? Or early June? Am I hallucinating that?
It's 25th, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So we got one more single in the EP. So we'll probably talk about it then next month. And hopefully by then we'll have some more positive things to say about it. But as it stands, it doesn't seem like either of us are particularly high on it as a whole. Which is unfortunate because this is very hyped and for good reason. And I really want to like this, but we'll see. I'm hoping that at least one song off that EP will knock my socks off and be something I revisit, but time will tell. Hollow City.
No.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. Yo, my bad, dog. Yo.
I only gave this song one listen, but I think I kind of echo everything you guys said. Where it's just the vocal delivery just kind of wasn't doing it for me. I really have no history with this band. I think I listened to one song off of the Act when that came out, and you wanted me to taste test it. Didn't stick with me. Never went back to it or cared about them or thought about them. This song just didn't do it for me. We'll see next month maybe if I'm swayed. But yeah, that's all.
Also, it's not confirmed, but they were talking about, or they said Space EP is very likely in the future on their Instagram live stream, is what they said. Or Space EP 2, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that tweet's like 10 years too old. No, for real though. All in all, we'll see. That's what it comes down to. Again, cautiously optimistic.
Yep.
I'm gonna try this one more time. Hollow City, a band that is new to the podcast, have a new single entitled "All My Friends Take Medicine."
This was a surprise hit for the month for me.
Yep.
It's up there as one of my favorite songs of the month. Not like as high as Never Tell, but this song, it was one that I wasn't hooked on immediately, but the more I listened to it, the more that chorus just got stuck in my head, and I was not able to put it down. I think really it's the chorus that just sells this song entirely. There's solid instrumentals, the verses aren't bad, but really the chorus is just the standout piece of this song. That verse of "All My Friends Take Medicine," we're all a bit bitter, but I forget what the rest of the verse is, but we're all a bit bitter, but we still pretend, or something like that. Just a really fantastic chorus for a band that I've been into for pretty long. I think since summer of 2019 is when I discovered them. And they've been consistently just solid. Never really blew me away. This song, I have a new favorite Hollow City song, and I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, this is my first exposure to the band, and I'm very pleasantly surprised. I really, really enjoyed this. Which again, like we were talking about earlier, how we seem to find like quote unquote smaller bands that are kind of, of higher caliber. Not that these guys are necessarily small, but like it feels like also too that bands that we find for the first time through this podcast, and often there is some overlap. The Venn diagram of smaller bands and bands we find for the first time tends to overlap a bit, but like this doesn't feels like it continues that kind of trend, I guess, where we find or somebody shows the rest of us a newer band or a new band to us. Man, I could have said that in about 10 seconds and I lost my train of thought and it was all over. Like it was just done. Whatever. Bottom line is this band is good. This song is good. Very excited to have this band on my radar now and to see where they go from here.
I hope they don't drop the ball on future singles because they have dropped the ball in the past. A couple of their songs did not really stick with me. Like they weren't bad, but kind of not as memorable as this one. Mm-hmm. But I mean, given the strength of this one, I'm hoping that they kind of ride the wave forward.
Yeah. So would you say that you hope that they say that, or you hope that they don't say that they don't want to try anymore?
God damn it!
Who walked into that one?
I knew it was coming. That's why I said, "God damn it!"
Outline and Color have released a new single. Or is it a single?
Last song
off the
last
EP
song off the
called
EP.
Don't Want to Try Anymore. Does that mean they're not making music?
Outline and Color do not stop.
They said they don't want to try anymore. What do you mean?
So
this
Jacob,
they're giving mixed signals here, guys.
Just so you know, Imposter Syndrome Part 3 or whatever comes after this is done, and they also have more music after that. Done.
Oh, is this the band that has like a double-sided album coming out?
No, that's
Citizen Soldier.
Oh, I always get them confused because we always
how? Oh, I guess if we're talking about them all the time, but this band is infinitely better than Citizen Soldier could ever hope to be. Just putting that one out into the world.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Anyways. I didn't expect the ballad.
Yeah, neither did I. I think we are talking about this kind of in the context of the single, but given that it's a ballad, it's kind of hard to ignore that this is the closer to the EP, to the Imposter Syndrome Part 2 EP. I wonder if they're going to do like, if they were ever going to combine the two Imposter Syndromes onto like one record. And then Don't Want to Try Anymore would really act as a closer to like an Imposter Syndrome album, so to say.
That's interesting. Yeah.
That's kind of what crossed my mind when I listened to this one. Like the fact, like I almost feel like it'd be more powerful if it was in the album context, but it's still, this is the closing track off of the Imposter Syndrome EP. It's a ballad. It's what you expect a ballad to be. It's what you expect the closer to be. It's kind of about it.
It's my second favorite song off the EP behind Poison Prescribed as Medicine. So I think that this EP is bookended by its two best songs, and I am very happy with that.
I'm gonna echo that.
Hell yeah!
That of these and probably the 4 songs off of part 1, I think Outline and Color's got something good. I'm still just gonna say Ghost of You is still my favorite song, and that's probably not gonna be topped ever given this direction, but who knows?
That's how I feel about Punishment, pretty much. But I mean, this band consistently puts out things that I find to be good or great, and every once in a while they give me a song I really enjoy. And so I am completely and utterly satisfied with everything this band has done, really. If I can get a constant stream of music from a band where I'm enjoying all of what I'm hearing, fine by me.
Well, there's only, I think off both parts, I've had one song I just haven't jived with. The last part, it was Breaking the Silence. This part, it was Goodbye to My Friends.
Okay, yeah, no.
No, why should you survive? Sorry, we were talking about, that's why I confused myself. I was like, what? But we're talking about no. Why should you survive? That's the one. But otherwise, no, I've been pretty ecstatic about these. So
Yeah, ultimately, this leaves me just very excited for what this band is doing. Like, obviously, I guess we talked about Citizen Soldier. When you have a constant stream of music from a band, it's very easy to feel like it's overwhelmed or redundant. But with this
Hopefully it
band,
doesn't
I'm
get
left.
that way with Of Mice and Men. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no. No, that's true. That's true. I feel like it's only that way because it's culminating in an album. Like, if they were going like the Too Close to Touch route, where we get one EP maybe every like
Year.
4 to 6 months, or I guess in case of part 4 a year, like it wouldn't be as overwhelming.
well, here's the thing: like Of Mice and Men and Outlining Color, and honestly, like Bring Me to Horizon kind of do
Mhm.
it well, where they vary their sound up heavily.
Yeah, true.
To not cause burnout, and bands like Solent and Citizen Soldier don't really do that. So when you
Good
get that
point.
constant stream, it's that audio burnout that's just
Mhm.
you want more of something else that's not going to be there.
Well said.
I think to close this discussion, I think I can happily say that I'm finally a fan of this band. I've
Awesome.
just been cautious. I've just been cautiously optimistic. Like
That should be the
Imposter
episode
Syndrome Part
title.
1 really didn't do it for me. Punishment was great, but otherwise I really wasn't enjoying much of it. I've consistently liked everything off of Part 2, and I think I'm on the bandwagon of this band now, and
That's good.
I'm happy to say that because if I feel like it's about time that it finally clicked for me.
Well, it took some time adjusting to their new sound as well, because their self-titled had different uncleans vocalists, so it's a completely different sound. So that only makes sense that only just now you're getting them.
I think that kind of wraps up everything there. So let's move on
mind if I
then.
take this one?
Starset. Go for it.
Yeah, bitch. No, Starset are back with a new single entitled Infected, which, at least to the best of my knowledge, is not attached to any album or EP or anything, but is rather attached to the fan appreciation event announcement for a mobile game called Arknights.
Ooh, they're pulling Bring Me.
North Lane. Oh. Well, that works
What's
too. I was gonna say North Lane.
Luden's
North Lane with
Bring Me.
Rainbow Six, right?
Yeah,
And-
Northland was Rainbow
I was
Six.
referencing
And Bring Me
Luden's.
with what was the
Oh.
song before
Death Stranding.
mantra?
Luden's.
Yeah, Luminance or Lumens, not Luminance.
Ludens.
Ludens.
Someday I'll get that right. I give up.
Does anybody else here play Arknights? Just
No,
out of
unfortunately, I
curiosity.
don't have a lot of time.
Oh, damn! Because I was sitting here playing Arknights before we were doing the podcast, and that's why I wanted to take this one. I will say that this is not my favorite Starset song, and I am disappointed for two separate reasons. The first is that like I always like a good Starset song, so if I don't get a good Starset song, I'm disappointed. But like also too, because I enjoy playing Arknights so much, I feel like my expectations for a song attached to an Arknights like promo trailer would be that the song would more directly reference like what's going on in the game and like the plot line of it all. And this is like it's kind of like how like Octane Core is all like very vague, like we are the champions, put
So-
your hands up, fight the power, that sort of thing.
I actually
That's
want to
like
go off topic and go back to
okay, hit me with it.
Ludens does that so well. Like after
Mhm.
I did I played Death Stranding in June or July of last year. And I went back and looked at the lyrics of Ludens, and it totally applies to the game. It is amazing.
Yeah, that so as somebody who plays Arknights, that is not the case here. And it's like it's that same sort of vague message from like Stadium Rock, Octane Core, whatever. That's kind of what this is. It's like it takes the vague plot line of the game and like throws it into a song, which leaves me feeling kind of disappointed because if I'm going to get a song that's applicable to arguably my favorite mobile game of all time, that like I would want it to be something more specific that I could really feel. And like I get that they have to work it into like or appealing to both people who play Arknights and also their regular fan base, especially because this is their first release in a while and it's going to get attention from people who listen to Starset regularly. But just overall, I thought that this was just okay in like every regard, including the like level of references and such. And I don't know.
I
It was
absolutely
yeah.
love this song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yo, my bad, dog. Go ahead.
yeah, no, to play devil's advocate, I think you're on the right track of something like that. Like, Ludens did it right, where, it was a song structured and made for that game.
Mhm.
And when you don't have a lot of, not that there wasn't a lot of material to work with in Arknights, but when you don't fully invest the song to that, especially in like
Yeah.
a game where, say that event never happened, then they just have this song lying around that, is purely based on something that didn't happen. Well, then what do you do with it at that point? And how does that, detract the message or anything like that? So I feel like situations like that where songs are actually, used as an event or as hype or something, I feel like they somewhat get a pass in that. But I'm still left leaning toward more Derek's perspective. I still think this is really good and better than anything they've released off that last album, in my
Okay,
opinion.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no.
that's a bit of a hot take.
Back to timeout. Go look at the wall again. Another 5 minutes. Think about what you did.
I don't need to think about this one. I was right.
Oh man.
He's doubling down on it too.
Oh,
Yeah,
unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hey, Hivemind podcast, now a trio. What's up, Jacob and Jake?
Hell yeah.
doing good. How about you?
Bro, Justin's like, yo, release me from this hell. Like he's like, yeah, by all means, go ahead. I don't have to deal with you guys anymore.
Jacob, why you like it?
I think it's like their last album, so it sounds really polished. Like the mix on this and the last album. You can hear everything. Dustin sounds amazing. I know a lot of people. This is kind of going back to their album, but a lot of people didn't like the new album for the change in sound, but I absolutely adore it.
No, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I don't know. It just sounds really, really high quality and well produced. Who produced this?
I have absolutely no idea. I can find out for you.
While you're doing that,
Produced by Dustin Bates, so the
Oh.
singer.
There
Yeah.
you go.
interesting. I want to mention that I feel like I actually also really enjoy this song. I won't go as far as to say is like it's better than anything off of that album because there were definitely a couple of standout songs off of that album. But it's definitely up there as like a quality Starset song that I think stands out above some of the rest for me. It's definitely more memorable than a lot of that album. But I do think there are better songs on the album.
Agreed.
Speaking of songs where there may or may not be better songs on the album, like Moss to Flames are back with 2 B-sides off of No Eternity and Gold. One is entitled Basilisk, and the other is entitled Inherit the Tragedy. I
Can I
want to
get my opinion on these out of the way real quick?
Okay, hit me with it.
Like Moths to Flames just ain't it for me.
I agree, except Dark Divine is like, what's the word? A light in the dark? No, it's not it. I don't know. Like Dark Divine is such a good album, and then everything else in their discography is meh.
No Eternity Gold didn't really do it for me outside of like 2 songs. And these 2 B-sides really ain't doing much more to convince me.
I agree.
And that's kind of all I have to say. It's nothing against the band, it's just not my style.
Although I will say, the mix is better on this one. The vocals don't seem very quiet, like they did on the album. Anybody agree? No?
I agree only for Basilisk. I
Okay.
think they're too quiet on Inherit the Tragedy,
Okay.
which is, I guess, part of why Basilisk is my favorite song. of the two. I will say I think that even though Basilisk's mix whew, is better. I still think that the vocals are like kind of quiet. Like I can't clearly make out what is being said some of the time. Like I had to actually look up the lyrics to figure out what was going on. And I think that it is salvaged by its overall like melody, and the way in which it's presented. The chorus of Basilisk is one of my favorite choruses I've heard all year. There's like a very great balance between the cleans and the uncleans, like trading off with each other. And especially that part in the chorus of the uncleans, and it's numb to everything I've known, no fucking room to grow. And like the way that he like holds out grow with like the sing scream sort of thing, and it's bookended by cleans. It's really good.
Lyric sounds so familiar.
Maybe because you've heard this song before.
Oh yeah.
If I had to guess.
Thanks.
If I had to take a gander at it. No, I don't know. Maybe maybe it's a Devil Wears Prada thing actually, like numb to this place sort of thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
Um,
That sounds so
either way,
familiar what you just said. Anyway.
I mean, maybe if you like go back listen to the song and see if it's the same delivery that you're thinking of, and if not, then figure it out from there. I don't know. I guess I'll have to say that like Inherit the Tragedies, whatever. It fits on No Eternity in Gold. What like Basilisk is one of my favorite songs I've heard all year in contrast. So I'm left like 50-50 on this B-side drop where it's like on one hand I've got, a fantastic song that I really love, and on the other hand I have one that I could take or leave. Still very sad about like Moss the Flames, that if the mixing was better on No Eternity in Gold, it could have easily made my top 10, and instead after these singles dropped, I gave No Eternity in Gold another re-listen, and it's still just it's too quiet. And apparently the band is on record as more or less saying, "We like the mix, go fuck yourselves." So I don't think that this is really gonna get
Really?
solved anytime in the future. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So it kind of puts me in the same boat as Jake, where mostly anyway, because obviously like I like Basilisk, but just overall I'm at the point where it's like I will listen to new like Moths to Flames when it comes out, just because I have hope.
Mm.
But if they're gonna keep the mix this way, then it's like, I've maybe just given up.
Have a lot of people been complaining about it, I guess?
Yes, no, this is a well-known thing.
Oh.
And it's basically split into two camps of, I can't listen to this, the mix is too quiet, and it sounds fine to me, you don't know what you're talking about. And the band has said that they're like, the mix is fine to them, it's how they're going to keep doing it. Sorry that it doesn't appeal to some people. Which I feel like there's only good things to come from fixing the mix, because nobody's going to complain about it getting better. Like even the people who like it as it is now, I don't know. But whatever, that's on them. But well, we'll see. Maybe people have room to grow and change. Maybe they'll fix the mix.
It seems they're very stubborn.
Yeah, Chris. It's what Chris Roeder.
Yeah,
I believe is he seems like a man who is very steadfast in what he believes in based on what I've seen on Twitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is what it is.
I remember asking him at a show, because they played a bunch of old songs. I was like, why? I really like the Dark Divine. Why'd you play? And he's like, we just do what we want.
Well,
he also seemed kind of annoyed at the question. So
yeah. Well, what they do is kind of working for me here and not really working for me overall. So maybe we'll see how the future plans out. Short Stack,
our little
band that Jake, I believe, introduced us to, are back with their new single entitled "Live For." Better or worse than "Burn You Down"?
It's worse. It's hard to compete with "Burn You Down." In all honesty, one of my favorite songs of the year.
I agree.
But by no means is this song bad. This deserves to be a hit radio rock anthem. Like the instrumentation and lyrics, literally, it almost feels like it's made for radio rock, but it's actually good.
I about had the same thing written down, actually.
Like I also like lyrically, this is one of the most positive songs I've heard all year, and I feel like that kind of stuff just takes off on radio.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, man. Short Stack like kind of came out of nowhere and could like at this point could be contending for a top 10 album of the year if they drop an album this year, which is looking likely.
Yeah, they
I am
UNFD as a
totally
whole on a
yeah,
tear.
I am totally on board with everything that Short Stack has been doing, both in this song and in Burn You Down. I also think it's cool to see that like they have some variety to them, whereas Burn You Down was definitely a little bit heavier. This is definitely much more like a radio rock anthem type song. And I definitely think that shows like a decent range in what they're capable of. So yeah, I'm just really excited for this band. This is a fantastic song. As much as I love it, I don't have too much more to say.
I don't either. I think you hit the nail on the head. Not quite as good as the last single, but built for stadiums and actually good. So I'll take any song that's like that. I will take in a heartbeat.
Yeah, just like imagine hearing this song live, and it's like you just point to the crowd and have them say, "This is what I live for." Like that,
Mhm.
It feels like it's made for stadiums and live shows.
I remember like there was a bit before the last chorus too, where it felt very like anthemic. I don't know.
I was a bit skeptical on this band. I thought "Burn You Down" would just be kind of a one and done. Just kind of, this is a song they're good at. I didn't think they would put out anything better. I'm kind of sold on this band now.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, it's definitely doing great things. Speaking of a band that's doing great things, Stand Atlantic are back with, I believe, their first release since last year's Pink Elephant, with Death Wish featuring Nothing Nowhere.
You make my head spin.
God knows I can't win.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I think I got a fucking
Justin,
death wish.
you were supposed to.
This one fucking slaps.
Yup, for sure. This is a collab I never would have expected in a million years.
Oh, it's so
You
good.
could have given me a list of like 40 artists and said all of these will collaborate with Stand Atlantic. Find the one that's going to happen first. Never. It's like in whatever it's called Endgame, where Doctor Strange is looking to the future and there's like 40 million endings or whatever.
Mhm.
This is one that like should not have happened, but somehow it's here and it works super super well. I love this song.
Yeah. This is my favorite Stand Atlantic song.
Hell yeah!
I don't know if
This
I'd
is
go
up
that
there.
far.
This is up there for me. It's not my absolute favorite, but this is
It's
probably
top
like
three.
pushing
top
top
three for me.
three.
Yeah.
It's pushing top three for sure. This is so goddamn catchy. Like you get all of the best aspects of pop punk and emo rap
Mhm.
meshed together, and it's just perfect.
I would not have expected Stand Atlantic to take those aspects of emo rap and be able to make them as pop or work as well as they did, but be just working at their overall sound. Like this still sounds like a
Mhm.
Stand Atlantic song, but it's a completely different vibe than everything
Yeah, like
else.
that opening verse, like with the auto tune and the slow paced vocal delivery, like
Mhm.
that feels like what you would get out of like emo rap, which makes sense because
Yeah.
you have the Nothing Nowhere feature. But just the way that she's able to do those vocals too, it just fits so well. Like it's so unexpected, but like they're already so good at it. It's like, what can't Stand Atlantic do at this point?
Yeah, I mean, and the melody, oh my goodness, the melody and like the catchiness on that pre-chorus, kissing the knife, a cynical and miserable high.
Yeah,
I heard that for the first time. It hasn't left my head since. I am putting this on the table right now. In spite of the song we are going to talk about 2 songs from now, this is my favorite single of the month. I'm putting that one out there. I'm laying it all out.
Oh, but Imminence is
I know.
right there.
I know. And that would be
I actually
top
don't
5
know
for
what
me.
my favorite is.
This wasn't.
There's so many good songs.
Yeah, this wasn't, and the more I listened to it, the more it grew on me, and just overall, Stand Atlantic, one of those bands that at this point, like, I mean, they were my number 4 album of the year last year, and it's just continuing. I love this style. They could do a whole album like this, and I'd be so happy. One of my favorite artists mixing with my current favorite genre in emo rap, just chef's kiss, perfection. Love it.
Speaking
Machine
of
Gun
love,
Kelly.
I was gonna say, speaking of pop punk, we went for 3 different transitions.
Try again.
Jake, I'm gonna give this one to you.
Okay.
Go! Drake.
Machine Gun Kelly and Kellen Quinn put out Love Race.
Of all the people to do the transition.
He sounded
Let's
so
go,
disappointed
Justin.
that he had to
He's
do
like,
it.
dude, it is. It's like a baby sister.
He's
or
back
baby
from
sister.
timeout.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
It's
trying
like
to make a
baby.
good impression.
Bro, Justin's out here like a babysitter looking at 3 kids and just like his head's in his hands. He's like, man, out of
So-
control.
I love this song, but the lyrics are really cringy.
Yeah. What is it? God was a girl, the devil wore a t-shirt, love was a game, and they were kissing in the bleachers.
Yeah.
God, I can't believe I know that. Well, it's probably because I've listened to the song a bunch because I also really like it. But yeah, it's pop punk is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
look, MGK is one of those artists where he misses most of the time for me. Like, full disclosure, I did not like Tickets to My Downfall, but when Machine Gun Kelly hits, he hits.
Yeah.
And
there's
this is one of those
bangers.
hits.
There's some bangers on that album, but most of it is
No
just, eh.
cap. Yeah, that especially Forget Me Too. I feel like it's a standout from that previous
Forget Me
album.
Too is the standout from that album.
No, it's my ex's best friend.
Oh, that is also very good.
Yeah.
Yes. I did not expect a Kellen Quinn feature of all people. Like at this point in Machine Gun Kelly's career, I thought that he had maybe moved past that because MGK was featured on a Sleeping with Sirens song back in 2013, 2014. It was either called, I think the album was called Feel and the song was called Alone, and I may have those backwards. I didn't expect Kellen Quinn to end up on it, but honestly, Kellen Quinn proving once again he kills every feature that he has. That's the best feature in the game.
One of them, for sure.
I shouldn't say
In
best.
saying that, though.
Most consistently good. I think I'll say.
That's fair. That's fair. In contrast to everything you guys have said, I found the song kind of underwhelming. It's just another MGK song for me. I definitely think there's a lot more memorable material off of Tickets to My Downfall. And this one it wasn't offering anything that I couldn't get from a song from Tickets to My Downfall that I liked more there than I'm getting here.
Actually, I just realized this right now. I only like MGK songs when they have features.
Yep. Nope. That's where I'm at. It's this Halsey, Black Bear, and then that one Youngblood song where MGK is featured on it, acting like that. No.
We are not bringing up the violation.
All right, now you got to go find a wall. He said this time I need you to face the wall. I don't know. Oh, man.
Anyway.
So fight. Oh, God. Fellas, you know what time it is. Spirit Box are back with their new single, and first, I believe, officially, quote unquote, off this album cycle, Circle With Me.
Wait, so
this band just feels inevitable.
Yeah.
This band, it's hard to deny what this band is doing right now. You cannot avoid them, and for good reason, because this song is amazing. I am finally hooked on Spirit Box. Constance was great, but it wasn't something that really attached to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good song. I enjoyed it, but it's not the most memorable thing. Holy Roller was the thing that kind of, I feel like, sparked them into popularity in a sense. And I can appreciate that song. But this Circle With Me is hitting different. That's all I can say. Circle With Me is just straight up hitting different, and I could not be happier. Her vocals in the verses and in the chorus are just so elegant and beautiful. And then to contrast that with her screams in the breakdown and in the opening riff of the song, everything comes together perfectly for this song. I feel like my mind is going back to that As Everything Unfolds album we talked about last month, where you get the similar vocal style of you get the female vocalist doing the clean vocals and the unclean vocals. And I feel like this song is doing everything that I loved from that As Everything Unfolds album just to the next level.
Right.
And considering that's one of my favorite albums of the year so far,
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't think there's much more praise I can be giving this song.
I did enjoy how metalcore Twitter and everything metalcore just kind of died the day this released.
Yeah.
Yep. They're universally loved, which I feel like can't always be said about a lot of bands.
Oh, 100%.
That's
Especially in
what I was saying.
metalcore.
That's what I was saying about how Spirit Box are inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just it. They're inevitable.
Jacob, you were going to mention something when we first brought this up.
Oh, I was asking if Constance and Holy Roller are gonna be on the album.
So the impression that I got, Courtney did like an improv Q&A thing on Twitter the other day. And there was some tweet, I sent it in the Discord. I can't remember what exactly it said, but effectively, to me, it confirmed that there are going to be songs that are heavier, at least one song heavier than Holy Roller on the album, and that also to the way it was phrased made made it seem like the other singles would end up on this album, because this was apparently written at the same time as Constance and Blessed Be. So I think my understanding is this is going to be an album with all the previous singles on it, plus the single released this fall. I'm assuming like 12 to 13 tracks is what I could gather. I could be interpreting what was answered wrong, but it looks to me like we're gonna get all the previous singles on the album. Yeah.
So I'm not as high on this as you guys. I think Holy Roller is the better song. That
Okay.
being said, Holy Roller took a while to grow on me.
Mm.
So maybe I just need more time with this song.
I feel like it's a general rule of thumb for Spirit Box. Like from what I've heard, either people instantly click with them, or it takes a while, and there's that one moment where like most of their discography clicks with you.
I feel like I might have just hit that. I feel like I might have just hit that point with this song. Like this song clicked with me instantly in a way that Constance and Holy Roller didn't.
You should go back and listen to Blessed Be and Rule of Nines. Blessed Be is very similar to this song. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like Courtney said also that this was their like quote unquote love letter to metalcore in that Twitter Q&A. Which I thought was interesting because the structure of it and everything is like really like basic metalcore structure. But it works perfectly. I mean, like my favorite part of this song, breakdown's all well and good. The last chorus, when there's that variation on the delivery and the layering of Courtney's vocal, I got goosebumps the first time I heard that. I mean, just so good. So good. Yeah, like you said, Spirit Box is inevitable. In my opinion, this band can really do no wrong. I'm in love with everything this band does. I am so excited for this album. Like, beyond excited.
I think that wraps it up then for Spirit Box.
Absolutely.
So let's move on then. Let's shift gears a little bit. Led by Lanterns have a brand new song called Paralysis. In the way that we said Spirit Box is inevitable, I feel like this band is the exact opposite, where the talent is there, but people are just not paying attention to it for whatever reason. I don't know how this band keeps sliding under the radar, because like they have not put out a bad song in years.
They feel like they have years of experience between them. And that's immeasurable to like how good the song is.
Wait, this feels like a band that should have like 100,000 monthly listeners, if you ask me.
Right.
And they have less than 10,000 as far as I'm aware, last I checked, or like just above 10,000. Like this band is on
18,000.
track. This band is on track to be releasing a top 10 album of this year for me.
In my opinion, yeah.
Like it's hard for me to deny that at this point. From Paralysis to Catacombs, which we talked about last month, to some of their songs from last year, like Criminal and Fever. Like this band is shaping up to release a debut album to stand above most debut albums that exist. And I think this song is another fantastic addition to their discography, and hopefully to the album. As far as I think this is the title track to the album, actually. I don't know when it's coming out, but yeah.
A good title track.
Yeah.
The lead singer actually wrote this song because he was suffering through sleep paralysis, and I just thought that was fun thing to write
Interesting,
about.
I missed that.
The album art. I was looking at it. It's like really cool.
It is
Yeah.
very cool album art, yeah. I think the last thing I want to mention, they have the way they open the song. I don't know. It's like some sort of electronic element to it that's really fun, and I think that's a nice bit of variation to their sound because I don't feel like that's something I've really heard in any of their previous material. So that'll probably help it stick out when the album does eventually drop. And as per usual with this band, just excellent instrumentation and vocal delivery just across the board. Like we've been singing this band's praises for a year now, and I as far as I'm aware, I'm going to keep doing it. So I don't know if you have anything more to add, Justin.
I don't. One band though that was kind of on my lower end of the spectrum of bands that we've kind of gotten into, have now picked up the pace a little bit.
Made a resurgence?
Wicked at Last, Armageddon.
Yeah, I think I'm
Banger.
gonna echo what you're gonna say here
Banger.
because this is their best song in a hot minute.
Absolutely.
I feel
Including
like
including
this-
the Alita's Way song, which I
True,
thought
yeah.
was just all right.
I feel like this song has more to offer, like in terms of the vocal delivery, than anything they've ever done before, except for maybe Purgatorium, which has that like very
So-
unique vocal delivery.
I like this song too. But,
Hey,
but that weird thing where he makes his voice go high in the chorus really turns me off.
That's interesting because that's what really makes me appreciate this song.
I tried
I'm
to look
in-
up the lyrics of what he's saying but they're not out yet. But yeah, it
I'm indifferent to it.
really- really turns me off.
what really gets me excited about this song is the opening parts to the verses, where his
Yeah.
voice has a little bit of that
Mhm.
like echo reverb, that softer
Mhm.
sound to it.
A little bit deeper voice as well. You
Yeah.
also have a really unique drum beat to back it in the verses as well, which is super
Absolutely.
fun. Like, this song in general just has so much more to offer. This is the potential that Awake at Last has had for a while, and I feel like they're finally realizing it. So I hope
That-
they continue in this direction to some capacity.
Yeah, I was supposed to say. That being said, like I've been disappointed with this band before, so I'm only optimistic from here. I'm not for sure saying, you know, I'm a Wake at Last fan, but could definitely get there.
The city is ours.
Hang on. Hold on.
Okay.
One more comment. I really enjoyed watching this band live. I saw them with Ice Nine Kills, but I haven't really found anything that I absolutely love since then, and it's kind of disappointing because I thought they were really good live.
I definitely think they have a handful of standout songs and otherwise have been a bit underwhelming for over the years. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear them live for sure. Anyway, The City Is Ours are back. They have announced their new album entitled Coma, which is also the track we're going to be talking about. They released the title track to the album. It's called Coma. So this is the follow-up to Violent, which they released last month. And I feel like this song is like not as good as Violent, but at the same time, this song has all of the same qualities that Violent does. Like instrumentally, vocally, like I think both songs are solid. For whatever reason, this song is just not nearly as memorable as Violent is for me, and I feel like it might just have to do with the lyricism, where you get a really strong hook in Violent, and you get a strong chorus here in Coma, but I don't think it's nearly as memorable, and I think really that's just the only thing holding me back from this song, because otherwise, like it's the same quality stuff that Violent had. So
This gives me old Wage War vibes. I think I said that last.
I think
said that last time.
I think we made that comment last month too. Yeah, like this band has elements of Wage War, and I'm still on that train of this is what I wish our Hollow Our Home sounded like. Like you take the unqueen vocalist from The City Is Ours with the queen vocalist of Our Hollow Our Home, and I feel like you get the best of both worlds almost. Because Because I feel like the Queen vocalists in both bands have very similar deliveries almost. But it's the Unclean vocalist that really makes the difference, and that's why I like The City Is Ours more. Yeah, that's basically it.
I was real confused because for some reason I blocked the transition to this out of my memory, so I thought we were still talking about A Way It Go Last. I listened to this once. I couldn't get quite into it, so I need more time with it.
That's fair. I don't know if there's too much more to say, so I think we keep moving on because we are running long at this point. So
yeah, absolutely. Swosion with
that is not how you say it.
Is it not?
It's
fine. You take this then.
It's Suasion.
It's Swazon.
It very well could be. I have no fucking idea. But it is very not Suosion, because that is not an O. It is in fact an A.
I don't fucking know. Pronunciations are weird.
Where's Derek?
Suasion.
Help.
Suasion have a brand new song
Washington.
called Murphy's Law, featuring Flow of Landmarks.
I'm going back to my corner. Don't talk to me, Angie.
My God.
Okay, Suasion have been a sweeper band for a long time. Their album in 2019 was an honorable mention towards my top 10 albums of that year. It just barely missed the mark. A couple of the songs were just kind of underwhelming for me. But this band at their peak potential is sick as fuck. And this song is them at their peak potential. This is a fantastic song.
On the opposite end of the scale, someone who didn't quite like their last album, this song heavily surprised me, and it's been in constant rotation for me. I've really enjoyed this song.
I think the only weakness that I could possibly give this song is that the chorus isn't as powerful as some of their other. They have had some strong choruses in the past. If you think back to, in my opinion, their standout song, which is Colorless featuring Philip of Normandy. That song has an incredible chorus. The chorus in this song is fine, but I feel like it's missing the same energy that the rest of the song has. Like, the verses in this song are some of the best moments of this song. And that's not something you always get to say, where like usually it's either the chorus or the breakdown that kind of steals the show. But the verses, just like every single verse brings something new to the table in this song. And then you get the breakdown of this song too, where Flo comes in and lets it rip. And fantastic feature.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overall, I am extremely happy with this song, and I hope they can keep it up if they're dropping another album this year.
I will say, I'll mention one verse because I feel like it's probably the best verse. I try to live by the words, never stop dreaming. Every cloud has a silver lining, but every time I manage to stand, healed from the last time, like a boomerang, you're coming back. And then it, like, instrumentally just gets better from there. I think that's probably the best moment of the song. What sells me on it.
Yeah, I think what sold me on this song is the breakdown, and then in the second verse, you get the super distorted. I don't know, you just get a lot of distortion, electronic distortion, which just goes into the chorus, and I thought that was sick.
I agree.
Man, I've known that COVID has like fucked up my ability to like have a sense of time. You telling me that Suasion album was 2019 really like that just messed with me like really really badly. Like I was like, there's no way, because I remember being outside of my college and you telling me to listen to it. Like there ain't no way in hell that's been a year and a half. I refuse to believe it. No, as far as this like specific song goes, I would echo all your sentiments. I think you put it perfectly. I really enjoy this. It's probably my favorite Suasion song.
I agree.
Close contention with Colorless at the very least.
And see, even though I love Philip Trent, I didn't like that after a couple of listens, but this I can get back into.
I don't know if there's too much more to say here, so I think let's move on. Landless are back with a new song called Borrowed Time. I feel like this podcast could use some borrowed time. We're running along here. Regardless of that, Landless are on a bit of a hot streak. I really did not know if they would be able to top Nobody. That chorus, I haven't gone back to that song all that much, but that chorus is still stuck in my head of "We know we're not perfect. We're trying to prove that we're worth it." And then this song comes out, and I feel like somehow they've just upped the bar even further, I feel. Just fantastic instrumentation across the board, and another sick chorus. And like, Dreambound has found another gem, and I am all for it. I am on this train.
You know, I like this better than the last single. Like wholeheartedly.
I'm in that boat too.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever
I think.
Go ahead.
I think one of the things that really stuck out to me the most is the drum work. Especially in the riffs, you get some really nice drum work that kind of. I almost feel like the drums guide the song more than the guitar riffs do, which is interesting. But
it's been like that way. I feel like for a lot of songs recently, that the drums felt like they've had a lot more impact, both like sonically and also in terms of like carrying the song along.
Whenever
I don't know.
This band's name, I always think of Team Aqua.
Have we seen what they look like? Gotta be a guy. There's got to be a guy looking like Archie in here somewhere. Never mind. Well, maybe if you squint, I'm gonna give you a maybe. Overall, I'm very happy to see a smaller band getting better. I feel like with every single, when the bar, especially when the bar has been set so high. With those initial singles, overall, very, very happy with this. Very excited to see how it goes.
Presumably, this is going to be leading into an EP. And honestly, like, this is shaping up to be one of the better EPs I've heard this year so far. Like, we're talking about some of the other notable EPs from this year for me, like Promise, Traceless, Landless, McKenna. Like,
oh, for sure.
We're getting a strong set of EPs this year, and Landless, I think, is worthy of that conversation.
Yeah, note that they're all of what you just listed are smaller bands. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool I have not mentioned the Mice and Men, but I feel like
well, it's a small local band of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
Fellas, Galleons are back with their newest single, presumably the last before the album, entitled "Playing with Fire" is such a cliche.
I mean, it is at this point because that album's out next week.
Oh yeah,
at the time of recording
I
this.
thought it was out the last month or the last week of the month. My bad.
No, the Siamese single is out last week of the month.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the opener to the album, and man, it's good.
Yup.
And they put an album teaser out, and this is the most stoked I've been for a Galleons album since their debut album, Dream Machines. I wasn't a huge fan of Metropolis, but whatever they're doing on this album, I am super sold on it. And this song in general, even though it's 5 minutes, it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was my main comment too. Is that like this isn't my favorite single, of the ones that have been released, but like it's the one that I feel like I'm most impressed with, just on the grounds alone that like it doesn't feel its runtime at all, no matter how many times I play it. You know, like I thought that maybe like the first time I was just distracted, and that's because it didn't feel its runtime. But the more I listened to it, the more I was just like, man, this is just it's a good song that flows really, really well.
I think this is my second favorite behind Let's Pretend.
Okay.
But that may also be because it's been a while since I've listened to Bear the Devil, and Hate the Player, Not the Game.
Right. Man, it has been so cool to see this band grow. Like, because when you introduced them to me, they had like 800, 900, I think, like monthly listeners, and now they're sitting at 82,000. Like, man, good for them. That's awesome.
Definitely deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. Very hyped for this album. Very, very hyped.
I have not gotten on the Galleons hype train entirely yet. None of these songs have really clicked with me. This one included. I do think it's interesting to note that this is Galleons and Valiant Hearts are both the vocals are from Tom Byrne, and Galleons is supposed to be the project where it leans more into the unqueens, like you get the queens and the unqueen vocals, as far as I'm aware, right?
This is more swancore. Valiant Hearts is more the post-hardcore kind of punky side of it.
Got it. But I feel like
although the teasers from the newest album, I might be lying. They're kind
maybe
of
a
all
little
over
bit.
the place in the next album.
But I think it was interesting when I was listening to the song, when I was listening to the other singles that came before this, I feel like I didn't really notice the Unqueen element all that much, but the Unqueens had an actual presence in this song, which I thought was interesting to note. I'm still not sure if I like it or not, but we'll see when that album comes out if things start to click with me more, because I've enjoyed some of Valiant Hearts' material, so I feel like there should be no reason why I'm not clicking with some of this material eventually.
Hopefully, you'll find at least one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is it
So
time
does
for the
that
last
take
single of the
us-
month? That's technically kind of almost not a single.
Yeah.
Hurt Wave have put out the final song of the Night Therapy 1 EP, Closer, entitled Overdose, featuring Landon Tours of The Plot and You.
Oh.
Best closer that Rory has been a part of.
Crash and
This-
Burn is like right there, man.
Yeah, Crash and Burn is right there.
Yeah, but Landon Tours is here, and that kind
But
of
Crash and
divorced
Burn
that.
is right there.
All that to say that this is really good.
So
I
Yeah,
am dying.
yeah.
I
That-
am dying on the Crash and Burn hill. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
You
her-
just
I will,
Wave-
I will
crash and burn.
personally, I will personally crash and burn on that hill.
My
this
God.
this Hurt Wave train, I don't think any of these singles missed at all.
I think maybe one did, but I can't name you which one it is. So
I think what was it?
one of the earlier ones.
I think Fever Dream or My Other Said I wasn't too fan of. Everything else is just swim high and above everything, and it's great that it's getting hundreds of thousands of views.
This is
Yeah, I
far
guess it
better
is.
than the Landon Tours song with Rory on it. Kill Me. That's what it's called.
Yes. Yes. Kill Me was my least favorite song off that EP.
Yeah. Same.
So all we needed was Rory in the forefront, is what I'm hearing. Right? Like
I don't know about that, but
at least for this.
I think I like
I don't know.
Landon better as a vocalist overall.
I do too. I will say I think I have to agree with you, but I think that the last 4 tracks on this album are the better ones. I'm wondering if all 7 were made at the same time, or if the first 3 that were released were made first. Like if the order that they are on the EP are the order in which they were made, because 4 through 7 feel a lot more like fleshed out, I guess, and like higher concept than the first 3. You know, like the first 3 feel very like they've got a message to them, but they're very straightforward. And we've got these last 4, and it feels like they're very like there's something straightforward, but there's more meaning behind them. I don't know.
Well, no, what you're saying has some precedence, because there was a time period where the first 3 was all this project had, and then the one in the last
Okay.
probably 4 to 5 months, the other 4
Right.
released.
Okay, well that makes
So-
sense, because the other 4 feel like more fleshed out and more mature to me.
Yeah, and
But
I would kind of echo that. I'm not sure if that's quite the case, but it does kind of get that semblance. Talking to it in the vein of the EP, Overdose is the perfect closer to something
Yeah.
like this.
absolutely.
I still kind of prefer New York's Eve with Seneca.
Mhm.
That's also still my favorite.
Yeah, mine as well.
But everything else on here is just great.
Yeah, this kind of like 80s synth style. It was what we were getting from that single, what is it? Ready to Love from Emarosa. Just any type of kind of post-hardcore turned synthwave music, I am just all over. And this is, I think, the perfect example of that. Song could have not had Landon Tours and still been great, and then you take a great song, you throw Landon Tours on it, and it's just infinitely better. Like,
I feel in contrast to that, like this song's all right, but it kind of didn't stand out to me, in all honesty. Like I listened to this song and I struggled to say anything other than it's a great song.
Mm.
Whereas I feel
Yeah.
like there's more to offer on other songs from the EP, but like this song's still great. So
Yeah, I mean that's fair. If you got a great song, and you can still say that there are other songs that are better on the EP, that's a testament to how good the EP is, right? Like just overall, check this out if you haven't. Really, really a lot to love here.
So
We
I guess
did it.
that takes us into the actual EP of this month.
Yes, the one EP.
The one EP of the month. Red Hook came out with their EP, Bad Decisions. This was a pleasant surprise for me because Red Hook have always been a band that I thought was just like, this band's pretty good. I'm going to keep my eye on them. Bad Decisions comes out in February.
Yep.
And my light bulb is turned on from that moment onwards. And I feel like I hear that song and everything else just clicks now. This is one of the best EPs I've heard all year. In contention with Hurtwave, to be honest, which we had just talked about. But there is so much to offer on this EP. Like, for being 6 songs, this EP feels like it has the depth of an album to me. Every song has its own very unique identity. You have I Don't Keep Up, which is kind of more of a punky intro track. You get Bad Decisions, which is just your anthem of the album. You get Kamikaze, your heavy track. You get Alien, which is almost like your emotional, kind of softer track. And then Your Heroes Are Bullshit as the closer. And Cure for Psycho's there. Not to put anything against Cure for Psycho, but that song kind of hasn't stuck out to me as much as anything else. But I think really the standouts, as I said, Bad Decisions as the title track is really they just turned I'm a fucked up mess feeling angry and depressed into one of the most sing-along anthems of the year.
Yep.
And you also get so, like, on top of that, you get so many fun vocal delivery moments on this EP. Like, not just in like the pitch, but like there's just so much variation in the vocal delivery. In particular, in I Don't Keep Up, there's the verse where it's too pop to be heavy, too heavy to pop. Has a really unique vocal delivery.
Yeah.
And then Bad Decisions, you get the chorus, which is such an anthem. And then later in that song, you get the really fast rap verse almost, which is also insane.
Unexpected.
And then, Kamikaze, you have some great vocal delivery too from the feature and Will King. I forget, it's the way he says history, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Just like there's just so much vocal variation on this EP. On top of, like, it's just, as I said, it feels like there's enough depth on a 6-song EP to make me think that I was listening to an album. And I think this EP is like 17 minutes long.
It feels almost like
you've
a
really
proof of concept.
compacted. Yeah. You could throw in a couple of songs in the middle that kind of sound similar and you get an album, but I feel like you compact all of the best aspects of this band into this 6-song EP, and you almost have the same thing. I'm in love with this.
I'm not quite as high on it as you are. I definitely it's very like bouncy and upbeat. I think my biggest gripe with this EP is the lyricism. Like it's very simple at times on the majority. Like there's, like you mentioned, the pop lyric, and there's like some clever lyricism in there. But then I think it's Bad Decisions where there's one point where it's like, I slept with my roommate and then I slept with my roommate's girlfriend. I make bad decisions. Fuck, or something like that. Like, and I was like, I was like to that point. And I think the standout on this EP for me is Alien, which is like this song about like questioning your self-worth and like why you exist. And I was like, 2 songs ago we were fucking the roommate's girlfriend. Like, what happened, right?
That's what I mean about how you get so much depth in just 6 songs on this EP.
I wanna my last thing here, because like I really have no gripe with this EP other than the lyricism. I think there's so much to love here. With
Australia
the
don't
lyricism, miss. For real. The lyricism on Alien, things like I just can't take care of the things that I love, and then there's a parallel between no one ever broke my heart, so I just broke it myself, and someone always held my hand, but I still broke it myself. And then there's the part towards the end where it's I don't want to feel this, I don't want to exist, which was like, damn, like we really went there, huh? Full disclosure, Alien is one of my favorite songs I've heard all year. I wish there was a little bit more variation in the lyricism, which was also a problem I had with something else that we'll mention later. But no, overall, definitely, even from someone like me who wasn't as high on this, easy recommend. Definitely check it out. Band
Super
deserves the love.
accessible for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Justin, Jacob, any thoughts on the Red Hook EP here?
I didn't get to this.
Oh, there we go.
Hive-minded
Alrighty
effects.
Yeah.
True,
Not in the
true.
best way though.
All right, let's switch gears now. Not just in terms of the fact that we're moving on to the albums, but also sonically.
Yeah.
We have Anna Lynn with their brand new album called A Conversation with Evil. This is some metalcore-ass metalcore,
Yup.
to say the least. And honestly, that's not always my favorite thing, but I hear Damage Control out of my YouTube recommended feed one day, and I'm like, God damn, this is some good shit. Damage Control in contention with Spirit Box for my favorite song of the month. And while the rest of the album might not live up to that bar, I think like Damage Control is not only one of my favorite songs of the month, but it's also probably my favorite feature of the entire year. You get Masato of Cold Rain to feature in the bridge/breakdown of this song, which I think is, as I said, the best feature I've heard all year. You make full use out of the Masato feature, getting both his beautiful Queen vocals and his harsher unqueens in the heavier parts of the breakdown. And you kind of keep going back and forth between them as well. Like you get a Queen line from Masato into the harsh vocals of whoever does the vocals for Anna Lynn. I don't know his name.
I have no
off the top of
idea
my
either.
head, but just a fantastic song all around. In regards to the entire album, I feel like you peak very early on. A Conversation with Evil is a fantastic opener. And then you get Closer to the Edge, Scars and Wounds, and Damage Control, which are by far my 3 favorite tracks on the album. And then it kind of goes downhill from there. But I think that's more so just personal taste than musicianship. I wanted to take a moment to appreciate Closer to the Edge and the breakdown that I was served in that song.
Yeah, that is a breakdown and a half.
The filthiest breakdown I have heard all year. Last month, I was like kind of bouncing between like 3 different songs for breakdown of the year. No, it is clear cut right now. The breakdown of Closer to the Edge is just miles ahead of any other breakdown I've heard this year. Holy fuck. It is goddamn brutal. It is filthy. It is nasty. It is disgusting. Not to mention, I think the rest of the song is pretty great as well. Like the build up to Closer to the Edge, I think what really makes Closer to the Edge stand out, and it makes that breakdown so powerful, is you have like the siren sound in the background in the build up. Part of what makes a breakdown so great is the build up to the breakdown, and the build up to Closer to the Edge, where you start with kind of just like the drumsticks like tapping on each other, and then you get the drums coming in. Because like usually you get like the soft breakdown, then you just into the breakdown. You get a soft build up into a heavy build up into a breakdown into a bleh breakdown. Like holy shit!
Chef's kiss.
Like I heard that and I audibly said holy shit when I heard it, which is something that I don't know if that has ever happened.
Seldom happens.
Like if ever, seldom. But like outside of Closer to the Edge and Damage Control being 2 of my favorite songs of this month, I don't know if there's too much else that this album offers for me. The other material on this album is either underwhelming or too heavy, in the vein of A Holy Gravity or Leveling God.
Yeah, my favorite song on the album.
You get at the end, you get Home Disconnected and An Evil Aftermath, which are all not bad, but compared to what I started the album with, really kind of dropped the ball for me. Regardless, though, for a band that I hadn't heard of at the start of this month to be releasing arguably my favorite album of the month solely off the back of Closer to the Edge and Damage Control.
Yeah, for sure.
Pleasantly surprised and very happy that I was able to find this band.
Yeah, even if just for Holy Gravity, I'm very happy that you showed me this band. He said it was a song that was too heavy for you. It was the only one I managed to save off of this one. I think that the instrumentals on this album are excellent. And the vocal delivery has a lot of like oomph to it, which I feel like a lot of other bands that I've heard recently have kind of lacked. I couldn't name you any off the top of my head, but I feel like in general there's been a theme recently where it's like I'm wanting something more in terms of impact from the vocals, and this really like hit that nail on the head. It's I felt my main gripe with this album is that I feel like some of the songs are just a tad too long, and like that adds
fair.
up.
Mhm.
And so if this was one song shorter, or if every song was like 3:30 or less, I think I would
feel
be
like you
very
say
happy
that
with this
though, but
album.
it's a 10-track album with an opening and an interlude. So really it's only 8 tracks.
Yeah, well, okay, so I think
But-
that what this is stemming from is that while the vocal delivery for me has a lot of impact, I feel like there's not a lot of variation in the delivery at some points. And
Mhm.
so I'm getting too much of something, not too much of a bad thing per se, but too much of something where I'm wishing, okay, I wish there was a different vocal delivery here, whereas we keep kind of going with this one thing. I don't know. I mean, it's a small gripe. This is probably the most like good to great album I have heard all year, in that I don't see myself revisiting it really. But everything that I heard, I was just like, huh, this is good. I never once wanted to skip anything, like a single song on here, which is a win in my books. Especially because like there is a level of production and talent here from a relatively small band from a country that is not relatively well known for
Yep.
producing tons of metalcore talent, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, yeah, just overall a very good album. Not everything was my cup of tea, but definitely recommend on the grounds that it is overall very good, and that this is a small
At the very
band
least,
with lots of potential.
you need to experience the breakdown of Closer to the Edge.
Yes,
At
absolutely.
the very least.
Positively. A name people might recognize, that Holy Gravity. It features CJ from Thy Art Is Murder. So if that's any incentive for anybody to go listen to it.
Justin, Jacob, any thoughts on this one?
I did not get to this.
Didn't get to it.
Yep, there it is.
There
Don't
it
worry.
is. Let's move on then.
Jacob, high five across continents. Continents?
Countries.
Countries. Jesus.
Countries.
Oh God.
All right, let's move on then.
I'll take
Termina.
it. I'll do this one.
You gotta
Termina
take it. Hey.
released their new album, Dysphoria.
Didn't we just like make you just laugh like that bad?
No, it's that I repeated you saying Termina.
Oh, got
I
it.
was laughing at myself.
Got it. I understand.
I mean, we are extremely entertaining. I mean, how could you not laugh?
Oh yeah.
That is the most unenthusiastic, like, self-service I have ever heard in my life.
I mean, at least it's better than Justin. Justin just
Excuse me, I was gonna make a comment about Derek. You don't get to talk about me like
He's
this.
Wait a
still in his
second, huh?
timeout. He's still in this timeout.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh man. Speaking of metalcore-ass metalcore, fellas, this is some metalcore-ass metalcore.
It is metalcore.
Excellent analysis.
So this album feels like a very heavy Veil of Maya record.
Are you saying that, like, the implication with that statement is that Veil of Maya is not very heavy?
Okay. Heavier.
Okay. Yes, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think this maybe has more cleans than a heavier Veil of Maya record. I'm just thinking back to Matriarch and the one that came after that in 2017, their last album.
False Idol.
And I don't. Yes, False Idol. I don't remember there being a lot of cleans in those. Like, just overall, like there were a couple songs that had them, but I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. It's been a while.
Older stuff is even heavier. So maybe I'm just going off on the.
I don't know. Maybe we're just all thinking of Mikasa. This album is basically like Mikasa in some form or another, but like 10 times. Would that be a fair assessment, do you think? Actually, no, there's 11 tracks on this album. Is there 12? No, it's 11. Okay. Sorry, I had to count for a second there. I don't know. I think it's because it's very genty. Right? Like a lot of the riffs here are very like for lack of a better comparison, Veil of Maya-esque.
I also think the lyricism is very Veil Maya-esque.
Yes.
I'll pull. Okay, I thought you were
Yes.
saying no.
No, I agree for the most part. I think that there are instances in which Veil of Maya's lyricism is stronger.
Understandable.
But I'll get into that like later. What is your favorite song on this album?
Servant of Death.
Ooh, okay. Damn, I was hoping we'd have the same favorite song. I'm very sad now. But I do respect that choice. Jake, what is your favorite song off this album? I know. Just give me one.
Oh God, I think it's Moribund. I think that's the one I liked.
Poor
Point
Jake.
being,
Poor
point being, yeah. Poor Jake is a great way to describe it. I tried so hard to like this album, man, but it's too heavy for my taste. That's just plain and simple. That's all it is. This album was too heavy for me. I knew it was gonna be heavy going in, but I had faith in the Andy Cizek Queen vocals to maybe get me to like one of them.
Yeah, and then he dropped one too many gutturals, and Jake was like, "Yeah, I don't know about this one, man."
And then the
When we
Discord
listened to this
icon
album,
changed.
when we listened to this album together, Derek, that night,
Yeah,
that experience was like
man.
that was a roller coaster of emotion for me because it felt like almost every single song had its moment where I thought I was going to be liking the song, and then something would happen, and it's like, yeah, man. But like, that's no disrespect to either Andy or Nick Nocturnal. It's just like, it's just not for me. It's too heavy for me. I think it's fair to say this is probably the heaviest record that I've ever listened to.
So,
Really?
And I mean, I don't. What other albums do you think would come close to it? Like,
I guess maybe the
Currents?
last one, currents, maybe Annalyn that we just talked about.
Yeah.
But no, I think in terms of like how quote unquote low or heavy the vocals can get at times, I would probably say that this is, yeah. Hey, you know what?
I
think
gave it a
that you're-
shot. I gave it a shot. I liked some parts of some songs, but ultimately, it just doesn't come together for me.
Oh, we
So
need that
you're-
Chelsea Grin album to release so we can get Jake.
Yo,
to
big
listen to it.
facts.
How about no?
This is about to become the not heaviest record real fast. I think that Jake's hopes that the Andy Cizek cleans would carry the record for him, and then simultaneously Andy Cizek being too heavy for him is a testament to how talented Andy Cizek is.
True.
On this
Very
record.
true.
His range is mental. Like Andy aside, Nick, his guitar playing in this is amazing.
Guitar work.
Like I have zero qualms with any riff, breakdown, solo, lead guitar, any of it. None of it. No instrumental qualms
Wait,
whatsoever.
Derek, you didn't say your favorite song, or if you did, I
Oh,
forgot
it's
already.
Suffocate. Sorry. No, Suffocate. I
Suffocate.
think that Suffocate has all the best parts of Andy's range thrown into one song with enough deliveries that it keeps every bit of the song like interesting and fresh.
For what it's worth, I think Suffocate was the other song I almost liked from this album.
Okay, I'll take it.
I think.
I'll take it. Moribund is my second favorite off the album, Jake. So I think we swapped 1 and 2s.
Hey.
And where's Servant of Death?
Servant
if
of
it
Death's
matters,
top
my-
5.
If it matters, my favorite was Desolate Spectre.
Yup.
Just because I listened to a single and everything else really didn't click with me. That one I could enjoy.
Man, it's a shame. I like this. So I think that like a lot of the songs here have their own personality, which is like very hard for a metalcore record to do. Like good metalcore records, every song has that one thing about them that like distinguishes it, and I feel like this album has that. If I have, well, Jacob, I want to hear any more positives that you have to say about this before I get into what I didn't like about this.
I don't know. Like it's not something like I'll go back and listen to a lot. Like I enjoyed it for what it is, but I'm not that high. Like the only song I saved is Servant of Death.
Oh, okay.
like yeah, like if I'm feeling like I need a good heavy metalcore or deathcore album, I'll go to this, but
Yeah, so when we reviewed the Makari EP, I mentioned that my greatest like gripe with Andy's vocals was that they feel like they can be, despite his incredible range, very repetitive and one-noted. That like I think he is a great vocalist. I didn't really get a lot of variation on a lot of the songs in that Makari album. Like they all felt like they had the same tone, and so I was kind of like not feeling it as much as I was. Like I love Let Go, and then everything else is just kind of there. I feel like that's the same sort of thing with the tracks I don't like on this album. Like he's showcasing his range, but it gets to a point where he's doing the same tone for a while, and I'm like, okay, I've heard this. I need a variation in delivery here. And it either comes too slowly or not at all. Like, for me, like Miharu, for instance. It felt very like one noted to me, even though there's a lot going on in the song. Like it all just kind of flowed together, but like if you were looking at it like one of those like graph wave things, you know what I'm talking about? Like the ones that go up and down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great. Yeah, this album reminds me of Nickelback. No, and you know what it is? It's like a flat line on like a health monitor or whatever. That's kind of what it was. That like there wasn't a lot of like peaks and valleys for it. It was just kind of there. And then also too that like I feel like when you mentioned the Veil of Maya lyrics earlier, I feel like the lyricism is kind of weak and like impersonal at times. I think Moribund. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Era was quite as basic as some of this, but I mean that could also be personal bias showing. I think that this really is my greatest gripe with the album is the lyricism, especially in like Moribund. Like I love that song. But I looked up the rhyme scheme, or I looked up the lyrics and like wrote down the rhyme scheme, and it's all A, then B, D E D E F F, like some sort of Shakespearean poem, right? And it's like I don't have an issue with the rhyme scheme. I have an issue that like the lyrics is I choke on the air, the doctors don't care. Like to me, that's a little yeah. And then it's I sent up a prayer, but nobody's there, or something like that. I don't know. I wish there was a bit more lyrical depth and like creativeness in some of the songs here that would really like send this over the edge for me.
Also, it kind of reminds me maybe, especially the song titles remind me of. Fuck, what's that album called?
Who's it by?
Northlane.
Oh God.
Pyramid on it.
Node?
No.
Node. Mesmer.
The one with the pyramid on it.
That's Node.
Is it? No, it's not. I don't swear it's not. It's the
one
with the Quantum Flux on it, on the album.
I think that may be the name of the album, bro. Quantum Flux?
No, I don't think so.
It's what? Quantum Flux? Node,
Singularity.
Mesmer, Alien. Singularity, that's what it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like it's I don't know. Probably one of their influences, maybe. I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, overall, like this was a good metalcore album. I very much enjoyed it. I've got some issues with it that I don't know, like how much leeway I'm willing to give in terms of like enjoying this as a whole and looking past those bits. But like the fact that this is, I mean, they're both like music veterans, but the fact that this is their first like official album together, like as a project, is insane, and I'm just really excited to see what this project has in the future. Like if this is what we're getting out of the gate, then it's likely only up from here because they're just going to continue to grow as musicians. So
I think that takes us to our next album, then, fellas.
Yes, sir. Holy shit, we have so many albums. Help! I like in my head, I thought that we only had like 3 more. No.
About that.
Yeah.
About that. Holding Absence released their brand new album, The Greatest Mistake of My Life.
I'm alive. How'd you like that?
Yep, that's certainly how the album starts. This album feels like a work of art that I should be able to appreciate, but I'm somehow not able to.
Yep.
Interesting. That is exactly how I feel.
I pretty much had that exact thing written down, so yeah.
Like this album is a piece of art. Like the musicianship, the lyricism, the way it all comes together feels like it's a piece of art, an expensive piece of art at that. But I listen to all of the songs and something's not clicking for me, and I struggle to put words to what it is.
I have the same feeling about their previous album as well.
Yeah, I felt like that more so, but also
yeah.
less strongly. Like, if that makes sense. Like,
This is
I felt
better
more
than
that
this is definitely
yes,
better than their last album. 100%.
yes, I agree, 110%. That last album honestly felt kind of forgettable to me. I'm not gonna lie, like it was one of those things like I mentioned earlier where everything I was hearing was good, but like I never really felt the need to revisit any of it. Um, this this is more so like I am able to appreciate that this is a work of art. I have a lot of, well, not a lot of, but there are plenty of songs on here that I can enjoy by themselves. I feel like this is an album that you really have to be in a certain headspace to enjoy to its fullest extent, and I am just not in that headspace. Like if I had recently lost a loved one and I heard this shit, it would be like instant album of the year, no question about it. Like we're done, pack it up, we'll have the awards show now. This is all top 10 albums and runner up. Like there's a lot to appreciate here as like a cohesive art. How do I put this? Like sonically, in terms of theme, lyricism, all of it in one package is probably the most impressive album I've heard in a long time. But on a track to track basis, it's not clicking with me as much. I appreciate it more as a whole than I do in terms of each individual song. Does that make sense?
Yep,
Like,
definitely.
okay.
I think I agree with you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
This is my favorite album of the month,
Ooh. Okay.
Huh.
and it's no contest.
Why don't you speak about it then if you're so
Yeah,
high
sure.
on it?
So,
He's in his corner.
You're allowed to come out of
Cool.
timeout now. Tell us about holding absence.
Yeah, so you guys pretty much have already said what I enjoy about it. The lyricism, beautiful. They nailed it out of the park. Lucas's vocals are amazing. Know My Rose is probably my favorite track that's released this year so far.
Ooh.
In the context of an album. But I will say, even though this is my favorite of the month, it does overstay its welcome. A lot of these songs are too long. If they were about 3.5, just about 3 minutes, probably be a bit more digestible as an album. Otherwise, a lot of it kind of feels the same. So that's why I kind of agree with a lot of your sentiments and why I'm not really, combating it or anything. I do agree this album is flawed in different ways. I just feel like I am able to appreciate in a way you guys at this current moment, with the album only releasing a couple weeks ago, haven't had the chance to be able to take in fully, and I'm not trying to put myself on a higher pedestal than I am. It's just that I'm in that headspace, or I have been in that headspace before, to where something like this can resonate with me. That being said, I don't know if this is going to end up on my top 10. It might somewhere. I do know that this album is good on the first listen. If you've got the 40 odd minutes, I think.
So
48, 50 minutes. Go ahead.
I feel like this album could be a similar to Movements for me. It could grow on me a lot and eventually be very
I think that's a
high
good comparison for sure.
in my top 10.
Some of the songs almost feel Movements-esque as well, in the sense that, like, I think one of my biggest issues with this album is that sometimes the choruses just don't have that oomph. And I feel like Movements also kind of has that, where you just kind of casually smooth transition into a chorus without too much extra instrumentation. And I feel like, in particular on a song like Curse Me With Your Kiss, the chorus just doesn't really hit that hard for me in that song. just because I mean, there's no instrumentation to kind of make it pop. And I think that Movements comparison is very accurate, especially for that song. On the other hand, you do get some songs that do really excel in the chorus, and I think we haven't touched on it in particular yet, but Die Alone in Your Lover's Arms is one of my favorite songs off of this album, if not my favorite.
It is my favorite.
That chorus is so powerful. And the fact that Lucas was able to feature his sister to do the vocals on that song, like, not only does she have a great voice, but I feel like that adds so much weight to like the emotional value that this album holds. The fact that you're confident enough to bring your sister into it.
Yeah.
Like this feels like a very personal album, a very emotional album. That's no secret, but I feel like that feels like something you only do when you are so confident in your vision and message that you want to spread with this album. And it worked fantastic.
I absolutely love the close or the ending of that song where they're both going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Am I out of pocket to say that Morning Song is my favorite song off this album?
Yes.
No.
Maybe.
Because
Three different answers.
Every single
Great guys, thanks. We've talked a lot this podcast about songs that maybe do or don't feel their runtime. This gotta be the shortest 7-minute song I've ever heard in my life. Like it just feels like a journey. Like I feel like that's in part to like the lyricism, because you spend at least for me, I spend a lot of time like listening to this lyricism and like reflecting on it, so the song doesn't feel as long because I'm more like enjoying it as a concept rather than a song. Like, hold on, I've got lyrics. My entire life is shrouded now that death's black wing eclipsed your sunshine. I sit here in mourning, knowing that you left while you were lost, and now I'm petrified of leaving before I belonged. And then that last bit where he hits that note, if this is my last chance to sing you to sleep, let this be my morning song. It's like, damn. Like, shit, man. Like, I'm on the way to work. I didn't need to be feeling this way. Like,
I also think it's important to note that this song this album opens up with Celebration Song and then closes with Morning Song.
Yes.
Which is a very nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to like this album in as a whole is art. And if I was basing my overall like album of the year, whatever, on like a cohesive package at its face value, this would be album of the year easily. Just because it's a masterpiece. I'm just not able to click with certain songs in a way that makes me want to just put them into my playlist. You know, and so I end up spending less time with this album because I can't just hit shuffle in my playlist and have some of these come up. Like, I have to be in the right mood. I have to hear them in the context of the album. And that, to me, is what's holding me back from loving this album song by song more than I do.
I think probably the best example of that for me is Drugs and Love. That song is like, when I heard the opening, that it has like a very almost cinematic opening to it, with like the distortion on the vocals and like the scratch effect almost.
Yeah.
I hear that and I'm like, is this song of the year potential? And then it just fades into like what the rest of the album is. It's like that emotional post-hardcore kind of sound that doesn't really pop that much. And I feel like if you combine that opening of Drugs and Love with the energy of an Afterlife or a No More Roses, you get like one of my favorite songs of the year. I'm a sucker for openings like the one of Drugs and Love. But again, it's one of those songs that I feel like you only feel the full impact of it in the context of the full album. And like, it's hard to listen to it outside of that context and like be able to appreciate it the same way.
I think I'm laughing because it's funny, because Drugs and Love is actually one of the few that I was able to take and put into my playlist that I accepted being able to go on shuffle. Afterlife I've had in there for a while, but Drugs and Love, Die Alone, and Morning Song were the ones that I've listened to most because I've been able to just put them in my playlist.
Yeah, No More Roses, Drugs and Love, and Celebration Song. for me.
Also, Beyond Belief, big grower for me since it was released as a single.
Yeah,
It is
I mean,
way better
I'm-
in the context of the album.
That was me with
I
the
think, yeah, definitely in circles. But I think Beyond Belief has definitely grown on me. It's another one of those songs that kind of lacks some of that energy. Which, given that it was the lead single, I'm almost surprised that I wasn't expecting more of that kind of sound throughout the album. But I definitely think it's a song that grows with time. It's very. I think that's probably like the best song that I can compare to Movements almost,
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I could see it.
or one of them at the very
Yeah,
least
yeah.
in some ways. You know, given how high I feel like as a group we are on that last Movements album, um, definitely we don't take that comparison lightly. I don't
Right.
feel.
Right. Yeah. I think that the main difference is that one was a bit more accessible. And like that, the Movements album to me is something that if you're in that headspace, you can connect with it that way. If you're not, there's still a lot to love individually.
I'm gonna disagree
Whereas
there.
for oh yeah,
Yeah.
man, man. Well, I guess that's why I had it higher last year.
No, I don't. I don't know.
I mean, I could literally pick out any one of those songs and put it in the, or like it would come on and shuffle my playlist. I'd just be like, whatever, I'm vibing.
Okay, I agree with that. You could just put
Yeah.
any movement song in
Yeah.
your playlist. Yeah, fair enough.
Which is, I feel like, the difference with this one. This one has more potential to be more impactful if you're in that headspace. But again, like song to song, it's harder to pick out any individual song and listen to it at any given point.
And I almost feel like that's like credit to them to
Right.
be able to create that, like the album experience.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
a day where singles are so dominant, to be able to create something that is that powerful in the context of the album is really like a special art.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tons of talent overall, just across the board in this band. Made me into a fan after not being as high on that 2019 album. Definitely. Jake,
Let's move on then.
Jake, were you made into a fan of While She Sleeps?
Did you join
With
the Sleep
their-
Society?
Did you join the Sleep Society after While She Sleeps' new album, Sleep Society?
Before I give you my answer, I feel like Sleep Society is basically just like the band's version of a Hivemind.
No,
Yeah,
it's
pretty
called a
much.
cult, not a hive mind.
Well,
They make money
there's
off
a
theirs.
connection there. There's a connection there.
They make
between
money off of it. It's a
Hivemind and
cult.
whatever
Yeah,
the Sleep
exactly.
Society is. And to answer your question, I think I'm a fan now.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I enjoyed this album. I didn't love it, but there are definitely some very good tracks on this album. And I think it opens up with the best one of them all. Enlightenment is one of my favorite opening tracks of the entire year. That's one of those. It's a 5-minute long song. It doesn't feel like the 5-minute runtime, similar to what you were mentioning with Morning Song. It's a fantastic opener. It has that nice build up to it, and then you get straight into the riff, which just hits hard. And I feel like the chorus is also pretty powerful as well. Overall, just a fantastic opening track. From that point on, I go kind of all over the place with how I'm feeling about the album. I still haven't really clicked with You Are All You Need. And then we get Systematic being another one of my favorite songs on the album. Then you get Nervous, which is like, it exists. Like, it's not a bad song. But I also I don't love it as much as I did when I first heard it. I feel like that's also probably due to the strength of some of the other songs on this album. Then you get Know Your Worth, which I think is a really solid song. It's just a bunch of ups and downs for me on this album.
So, I love this album, but it does have its flaws. I will admit.
What are
Derek is right, somewhat.
Oh, yeah. I never thought I'd hear this. Please go on.
No, it's just Division.
Make sure we're
Street.
still recording.
Yeah, hold on. I
Go
got
back
action
to your
up. Go for
corner,
it. Go for it.
Justin.
Go for it.
Yeah, Division Street is probably the biggest one that is
Yeah.
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 Look, man, this album instrumentally fantastic.
Mhm.
All right, this band's instrumental talent out of this world. There is a great cohesive message across the board in terms of like activism, in terms of cohesion, both like as a people and within like the band and their fans. I love the inclusion of their fans. I don't see a lot of bands doing that, so this is really neat that they're able to do it, even to go so far as to name the album after them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get behind this vocal delivery. It's the Devil Wears Prada issue. I just, for whatever reason, if each of these songs were kind of 2.5, 3 minutes, I could do it. For whatever reason, this vocal style just isn't clicking with me, and I don't know how to remedy it. Like at this point, like I've given it a ton of chances. I love whatever it's called. You're All You Need, and like obviously like Silent Speaks is great, but like everything else outside of that, it feels like it's too much of the same thing. Not whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just too much of the same vocal style to me that isn't clicking. And then the 7 minute closer felt weird. It felt weird.
Yeah, I wish
Yeah,
it, goes for
it
Call the
definitely.
Void. Call the Void would have been such a good closer.
Especially because it's got the six
I
fighting audio clips in it.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
done. It's done.
Yep. This
I
album
do
doesn't have
like
its
the
flaws.
touch. I do like the touch that the end is, where it's just like a personal message from the band. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I feel like that's a product of the sweep society, where you get that message at the end to like show the appreciation for what they're trying to create. But I respect it for what it is, but I also don't know if I necessarily enjoy it.
All right. I've
Is how
been
I'm
talking
feeling.
about the flaws of the album. I gotta talk about
Go
the
for
good
it.
parts because there are a lot of good parts.
Yep, there are some good parts for sure.
Lyricism, for the most part, it's all about being free. Pretty good.
Silly Canadian talking about freedom.
Yeah, we don't have guns.
Yo.
America rise up.
My God.
Okay.
Back on track, gang.
So yeah, Enlightenment, amazing opener. It is my second or third. I don't know. Second. I'm gonna say No, I'm gonna say third. Third favorite on the album, behind "You Are All You Need," which is we talked about in previous episode. I don't remember which one. Whenever it came out.
I think it was January, February.
Yeah, systematic, also good. Then you get to Know Your Worth. Best song on the album, and I'm gonna read some lyrics.
Hit me with it.
Wait, I'm on the wrong one.
You can do it. I believe in you.
No, I had Enlightenment lyrics open for a second. I was like, what?
Oh, unbelievable. How could you?
Yes, so I guess I'll start with verse 1. Somebody told me to change and somebody told me to stay the same. Somebody told me it's fate. Somebody told me the way we live will come. What? That doesn't make sense. We live will come with a consequence. Oh, somebody told me the way we live will... Okay, I'm losing it.
I had that happen earlier when I was looking at holding absences. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I know exactly what just happened to you. Don't worry. I've
Okay,
been there too.
anyways. I love this song. It is amazing. I think it's funny when he says, I don't need you to tell me how to live. I'm on the edge. And then he tells us to jump.
I picked up on that.
I didn't pick up on that either, but that's a good lyric.
I think it's
now that you say it, like I remember the way that he says jump into like the breakdown of that song or whatever, but I don't think I picked up on the lyrics that preceded that. That's great.
It's ironic and it's good. yeah, I don't know. I love this album. There are definitely problems with it, but overall, Sleep Society, Call the Void, also very good songs. I love Call the Void. Um, I'm I'm gonna need some help here, guys. I need
Okay.
um. What does the title of the last track mean?
It's the end spelled backwards.
Oh,
What the?
Bro.
Did y'all never realize that?
No.
No, bro.
Man.
I swear to you, when I forgot that when 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 Jacob was talking about Division Street earlier, I was
I
looking
hate that song,
at the
sorry.
closer, and I was like, is that what it stands for? In my head, I'm like, all right, D for division, and then it's like two threes. It's like E's, HT, Division Street. Like, yeah, okay, sure. I didn't know that's what that stood for, but go for it. Bro,
That's interesting.
Thanks, Jake.
You're
We're all
welcome.
brain dead. We're all brain dead.
Yeah, it's a very similar to Architects. See, Architects, there's songs that I feel like I want to like. Anyways, I'm gonna compare the two because I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to love the album as a whole, but the lows are very low, but the highs are also very high. So, um, yeah, it's just a singles song for me, I guess, or album, singles
Singles album, yeah.
So
I think the last comment I want to make is that I had already touched on how this album felt like a roller coaster to me. I think it's just the pacing and placement of some of the tracks.
yeah.
Like
I
you
think-
get Division Street after No Defeat for the Brave instead of and then you get Sleep Society and Call of the Void, which are two just kind of typical tracks. Like I think you probably I'm almost surprised that they didn't open the album with Sleep Society. It makes sense given Enlightenment fits as an opener. But I'm surprised to see Sleep Society at track 9, given how core that song is to the identity of this album.
Yeah.
And then I also feel like I don't even remember what PYAI is at this point. That's just some sort of an interlude as far as I think.
I have no idea. Well, oh yeah, it's in there. I thought you meant like what's it stand for. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out backwards to the end. You think I could figure out PYAI? Like,
but like I feel like Nervous coming in at track 4, I don't feel like you're deep enough into the album to appreciate kind of the buildup that song has. And I feel like
I will say Nervous grew on me listening to the album rather than it being a single.
like a single, yeah.
other than that, I don't really have too much more to add. So
yeah,
No.
the highs are high. The
solid
lows are
album.
low.
Yeah.
Solid album. I've definitely been converted to a fan of this band. I'll have to give
Indoctrinated into the Sleep Society.
I'll have to give some of their previous material a listen now, considering this is my first exposure to the band. So,
All right,
moving
boys.
on,
Oh,
we have
yeah.
You mean Walk
Escape.
On?
No. Stop. I hate it.
Escape the Fate have their brand new album called Chemical Warfare. And before we get into any of the tracks on this album, what the fuck is this album art?
Awful. It's fucking awful. Somebody
This
got paid to make
looks-
this.
This looks like it was made on paint.
They
Like-
sat down, commissioned a graphic designer who then took the time to make that, presented it to the band and the label. And the band and the label said, man, this is good enough for the album. Why? It's so bad. It's like legitimately so bad. It's like somebody took one of those mobile picture editing apps. It was like dragging the multiple. All right, yeah, we're gonna Google smoke transparent PNG. Oh yeah, this is
Lightning.
great. I'm gonna put it over
Lightning.
this. Yeah, lightning. It's not. The lightning's not even blended. They just gave it a glow effect and slapped it on there. It's like,
Yeah.
I could have done
Now-
this shit in PowerPoint when I was 12. Like,
Now, does the quality of the album art reflect in the album?
yes,
Wait, Let Me Be is not on the album, so it is therefore better than.
that's
I Am
true.
Human.
It's therefore better than most of the other shit we've heard recently.
I
Look.
actually like this better than I Am Human.
Yes, I will say that. I think that I Am Human is just overall bad. This is like mostly bad, but with good parts.
Yeah.
There are some good parts. I think 2 of the singles, Invincible and Not My Problem, have to be some of the standout songs on this album.
Yes, I agree.
Not My Problem is super catchy. The Lindsey Sterling feature in Invincible, while not very well mixed, I would say that her violin is very deep into the mix of that song. I would have liked it higher up. Still a great feature, an unexpected feature at that. Outside of that, you're looking more into kind of just generic radio rock for some standout songs. And I feel like you get the triple threat of Demons, Hand Grenade, and Ashes towards the end of the album. That's kind of the best of it.
And if that's the best of it, that's saying something. Like,
Yeah, it's
I don't
like
know.
it's not bad, but it's also lacking in something to bring me back.
Yep. Look, I physically and audibly yawned multiple times during the latter half of this album. Like, I have never. I did not even yawn listening to ADTR. I yawned listening to this album. And like, don't get me wrong, like I think Invincible's a good track. And like Not My Problem and Lightning Strike are like also not bad. It just feels like the rest of this album is either like aggressively, painfully boring and average, or like wasted potential. Like I feel like Ashes and Burn the Bridges especially had a ton of potential to be good that they just kind of fell flat. Like if I am bored and disappointed by a majority of an album, that's not how I want to be, right? Like
Yeah. I think at best you're getting average material off of this album. At worst, you're getting stuff that's just forgettable and not enjoyable.
Yeah.
If you ask me, the epitome of that is Walk On being the closer. God, that track sucks.
It's so bad. It is so bad. I thought that maybe like in the context, like after I heard everything, like, oh yeah, this would be a great club. No. I was miserable throughout the album, and then I have to hear that as my final send off. It's like, nope.
What was the theme song for again?
Oh God, some movie. It was, or I think it was the credit track for some movie that was involved with like the same studio that shoots that Andy Black show, American Satan. For the uninformed, the lead singer of Black Veil Brides has a show on TV. And there are stars in one, and like it's owned by like Fearless Records or whatever like the studio is. I think Escape the Fate's on Fearless, right?
Yep.
Okay, then yeah, it's a studio owned or operated by Fearless Records, and it was some movie like through there.
Are they? I don't feel like they're on Fearless.
Are they? Where'd they go on? Let's see. Better Noise. Oh,
Better Noise. No, Epitaph was years ago.
I got no clue. Anyway, I don't care what it was, the opener, closer, credit in the movie, whatever. I no longer want to see that movie. walk on some ass.
There already is a deluxe edition expected June 12th.
Oh God, no, not more of this. Please, no. I am physically not strong enough.
2, 3, 4, or two of them. One's an acoustic and 2 of them are acoustic songs, and 3 of them are songs.
Great.
One of them is called "Shut Up and Listen."
No.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
no.
That.
I don't know if there's too much more to be said about this album, to be honest. We could probably spend more time shitting on this album, but I think we have better pastures to get to.
We've made our point, and like you said, there's better albums ahead. So
you know what you could call that? Skip the Fade album? New Age filth.
True. Except that would do a disservice to Hail the Sun here, who have put out their new album entitled New Age filth.
I'm going to be honest here. This was a last minute add to the podcast. I forgot that this album came out, and I know that you two, as in Derek and Jacob, listened to it. I didn't get a chance to this because I was only informed about 25 hours ago that we were going to be talking about it. So the wheel is yours.
So let's see if we can sell you on it. Jacob, how'd you feel about it?
This is Hail the Sun's most my favorite. I'll say my favorite.
Yep.
Most accessible
Yes.
as well. It is the most easy to listen to out of anything I've heard from them. I think
Yep.
I've even seen them live with Dance Kevin Dance. I can't remember.
Yes. Yeah, they were on the 2018 tour with Covet, or 2019. It was Covet, Hail the Sun,
Yeah, I
Don
saw that.
Broco, and Periphery.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I like this album. I've only listened to it a couple times. I need more time with it, but overall, it is pretty good.
Derek, do your
This
best
is,
to convince me
yeah,
on this one.
okay. So, first and foremost, this is my favorite album of the month. Which is, if you would have asked me at the start of the year if I could have said that about a Hail the Sun album, I would have laughed at you, because like I listened to the band's 2018 album. I believe it was called Mental Knife. Don't quote me on it.
Sounds right.
And I found a few things to like every once in a while, but it didn't really stick. I removed them from my playlist really fast. Donovan's voice was just really something I couldn't get behind in his solo material or in that project with Sergio Medina, Nova Charisma. His voice wasn't clicking with me for some reason. I don't know. And then I heard good things about that. I wasn't going to check this album out, actually. And then I heard good things about it. And I'm like, well, I may as well. I wasn't sold on the singles. I didn't have any of the singles saved. And then all of a sudden, I heard Domino, which was a single, and it's the opener for the album. And I heard it, and it instantly clicked. And I'm like, oh no, what have I gotten myself into, right? It never stops being good. Like, Jacob hit the nail on the head when he said that it was the most accessible, and I think that that's in part due to the production on this album. Like, it's very crisp and clear. It doesn't have that kind of muddled, noisy feel that a lot of, like, not necessarily swancore, but a lot of acts in that vein have, like in this section of the scene, where there's a lot of noise going on and like it works audibly, but like here every single instrument is crisp and clear, and the vocals come through crisp and clear. Donovan is an incredible drummer and an even more incredible singer, but I think that the guitar is actually what really like drives this album. There's like a lot of technical moments on here that are really good. But I think for me, it's a lot of the more simple melodic moments, I guess I'll call them, that like help drive Donovan's voice forward, that really sell me on this album. It's just really, it's cohesive front to back, not necessarily in message. If there's like an overlying motif here, I haven't caught it. But just like every song has its own, like what we were talking about with Termina earlier, every song has its own unique identity, but the overall sound within the album is cohesive enough that like front to back, you feel like you're experiencing an album with identity, but not one that's disjointed. It's not an album of singles. You know, even though each of these songs could have worked as a single, I suppose. There are two songs on here that I'm not as high on, and it's Solipsism and Misfire, which I believe are actually the two most played from this album. So I guess maybe I'm missing something that other people are getting. But even though like those are the only two songs I don't have saved off this album, and they're still great. Like listening to the album front to back, I don't skip them. Like even though I don't have them saved, I enjoy them enough that it's like, why would I bother to skip them? Like I just want to experience this album. Nothing overstays its welcome. I think this is probably the most perfect 10-track record I've ever heard in my life. Like I feel like every track has its place. None of them are too long. None of them are too short. They're all where they need to be. vocals, instrumentals, production, everything's perfect. This is the biggest surprise for me all year in terms of a band where I wouldn't have expected to love an album and then suddenly I'm enamored with it. Yeah, just beyond happy with this album. Please, please, please go check it out. It's perfect. Even though I just got done saying that there's like 2 tracks I'm not super high on, just like as a cohesive whole, it's perfect. I love it.
What's your favorite
Song?
mm,
Punch Drunk.
Misfire?
Okay. Okay. See, that's again like one of these days I know Misfire and Slipsism are gonna click for me. Like it's not like one of those things where I'm like iffy on it. I know it's gonna happen one of these days. It's got to. It's got to. I'm too invested into this album for them not to. I think Slander is also another great song. Major Mark, one that I absolutely, it was my least favorite single, and now it's one of my favorite songs off the album. Again, it's one of those things like with Spirit Box for you, Jake, how something clicked, and then now it's like, oh, my eyes are open. That's how I was the moment I started listening to this album, despite having heard these songs as singles. I do. I love this.
I think you've got me convinced to add it to my very long Google Doc of albums to get to eventually, TM.
I can't wait to hear your review of this in 2023.
Well, because it's the 2021 album, it's more likely that I'll actually get to it this year, so I can add it to my end of year count.
I hope so.
So you have that going for you.
I hope so. Very, very good.
Yeah.
What
Well then,
do we want to
fellas.
do with this last one?
I say we
What
go
are
for
we
it.
thinking here?
I don't have
I
much
think
to
we
say.
can knock it out. Yeah. I
We
think
commit
can
to
knock it
this?
out.
Yeah.
God bless
Yeah.
America. Speaking of artists on Dance Gavin Dance tour tickets, the lead singer, I went
I mean,
there.
you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
The lead singer of Dance Gavin Dance, Tillian, has put out his 4th solo album, entitled I am blanking Factory Reset.
Can
I'm
I
blanking
start on
back
this
in
one?
No. Yes. hit me
Can
with
I
it.
start on this one?
Yes.
I have one thing written down in my very brief notes here.
Uh-huh.
I still don't know what to think of this album.
Okay.
I don't feel like I have a queer. I feel like I have an identity crisis in my head with what I want to enjoy from this album
Okay.
because it's all good and it's just not coming together for me.
And when you say not coming together, do you mean in terms of the songs themselves aren't clicking, or it's not coming together as a cohesive album for you?
I think more is in the terms of a cohesive album because I have gone back to a handful of these songs individually and I've enjoyed them. I think most notably being Caught in the Carousel and Act Out,
Okay.
being 2 that stood out to me. But then outside of that, like Holy Water, All I Crave Is Peace, and Hands Around My Throat, and even Factory Reset, the title track, I listened to those 4 and I can't put any words to how I feel about those songs. They're there and I won't complain about listening to them. I can't say that I love them. I can't say that I don't dislike them for sure.
Mhm.
They're just like a strange enigma for me. I almost feel like I still need more time to piece together what I think about this album. And it's been 2 weeks since it released at this point. Like theoretically, I should have some sort of an opinion on what I think of this album at this point.
Mhm.
But something isn't coming together for me here, and I don't know why. And it's a little frustrating, to be honest, because I have pretty much always been more of a fan of Tillian's solo stuff than Dance Gavin Dance, which is
Yeah.
definitely a hot take. But Tillian's solo stuff, the pop sensibility has always just clicked with me more. And you definitely get that on this album, but I don't, as I said, something's not coming together for me. And I wish I could explain what it is.
I think I might be able to do it for you because I kind of feel the same way. So the 3 solo albums of Tillian prior to this, the first one was Material Me, which was more of an electronic pop inspired album. And then you have Perfect Enemy, which is, to the best of my understanding, a concept album about a relationship. That has some of the electronic elements from Material Me, but overall it's more like pop rock type thing. very like light, airy, bouncy. Then you have The Skeptic, which is less of a concept album, but more of a personal note and more of the post-hardcore side of things. This album is all of those three ideas from the previous albums put together on one album in a way that feels less like a cohesive album and more like a group of experimental ideas. But in that same vein, I think that all of them have that unique Tillian identity. So, like, for me, this is both a cohesive album and not a cohesive album. Because
I like the words
there's-
you're using here. I
yeah,
will say
there's that, like, I hear every one of these songs, and having become relatively well versed, I guess you could say, with how Tillian represents himself in his solo material versus like the Dance Gavin Dance material. This has throughout that Tillian solo project feel to it. It's just that sonically it's a bit all over the place in that the previous albums all committed to whatever genre really that they were going for, whereas this is less of a committal to genre and more of a committal to concept. Like Breathe, for instance, is like
Mhm.
he just breaks the fourth wall. Factory Reset has like trap hi-hats in it. Is Anarchy a Good Hobby is something that just has not been done in any Tillian solo material before. Like that's just not that's not how that goes. Tim Henson, I believe, is the first of Polyphia is the first feature that has ever been done on a or no, I take that back. I lied to you. It's the first one that's been done in 6 years. I'll say since like the first album. There's more like experimental guitar work. Like so Tillian did all of the instruments on this album besides the drums, which were done by the producer. I really don't know. That's the best way I can put it. That it is at its core, the foundation of it is cohesive, but everything else that's below that foundation, like on the surface level, is kind of jumbled and all over the place. It's like a branching out of ideas, which, like, if you're not super familiar with the, like, quote unquote Tillian identity of the solo music, then it would appear to be less cohesive. Does that make sense? Did I present that
You've
in a way that
definitely
makes
put
sense?
it into words that I
Okay.
was not able to come up with.
Okay. I'm glad that just wasn't me going off, and it's just like, yeah, I got no clue what this guy's talking
Some
about.
of that definitely made some sense in my head, how I feel
Okay.
about this album.
Okay.
I just feel that when I listen to Tillian, I just take select songs, like Cocky is the biggest example I can think of. Also, there's a
Okay.
few songs on this that I have added to my playlist. Like, I think my favorite on the album is Anarchy, a Good Hobby.
Mm,
Interesting.
that was the biggest grower for me. It took me a
That's
while
one
to
that
get
still
into
hasn't.
that.
I
That's
love
one of the
the-
few that still hasn't clicked with me.
I love I don't know what to call it. I want to call it whispering because I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, when he goes into his lower register,
yeah.
basically. Yeah. There's a lot of like vocal experimentation too on here. Like obviously there's that. There's when he goes into his lower register on Caught in the Carousel, then like pre-chorus. Yeah, I will agree with you that this to me feels like the album where I mean, don't get me wrong, I've listened to it front to back plenty of times and I love it for what it is. This feels like the one where I would rather pick out individual songs than listen to the
That's
thing
how
as
I
a
feel.
whole. Again, not to say that I don't like the album as a whole, but like, I mean, there are some high highs on here. Like for me, Caught in the Carousel and Hands Around My Throat are two of my top 5 favorite songs this year. Like it's just how it is. I love everything on here except All I Crave Is Peace and Act Out. Which again, like I was talking with those two Hail the Sun songs earlier. Those are two that I don't skip when I listen to the album, because I still enjoy them enough, and so I'm just waiting for that moment when they click for me. Song
It's interesting
for
the act out hasn't clicked for you, because that's one of the ones that immediately just worked for me
it's the
when I was
lyricism
otherwise
for
feeling
me.
kind of Okay, that's fair.
I think
To
it's
me,
the
it's just
lyricism.
like the pop sensibility of that song is undeniable.
Well, okay, so that's part of the reason why it hasn't clicked for me is because I feel like a lot of Tillian's solo material, there's a lot of personal touches to it mixed in with his pop sensibility, whereas that to me feels just like a pop song. Um, and like I assume it's a personal touch about his fiance. But like that's why Factory Reset was the one that I most recently clicked with. Like it's the one that took the longest for me to get with because it felt more like kind of that poppy pop style song. Not like Poppy the artist. It did not come off like a poppy song to me. I'm from Tillian, I'm looking for something that's personal with a pop catchiness to it and post-hardcore flair, which is what I feel like a lot of the previous albums were, especially The Skeptic, and then stuff on here like Hands Around My Throat, Caught in the Carousel, Holy Water, with that post-hardcore-esque guitar work and instrumental work, as opposed to something like Act Out or Factory Reset, where it's still got the Tillian vocals that I know and love. It's just a different sort of style and approach than what I'm really looking for. I will say it's probably one of the more accessible albums I've heard all year. Like I've
Definitely
recommended this to so many people. So many people. Yeah, all in all, I am very happy with this. I mean, Caught in the Carousel and Hands Around My Throat alone were worth the 2.5-year wait from the last one. Let alone the rest of what we get here. I am excited to see now that I've gotten this album, I have literally no idea what the next Tillian album is going to sound like because this one is just like so much experimentation. The next Tillian album, by the way, is coming out next year. That is confirmed.
Ooh.
Like it's already being recorded. So very, very excited for that. We'll have another one to talk about next year. But yeah, definitely this and Hail the Sun, my two favorite records of the month, my biggest recommends.
Best for last, eh?
Yeah, exactly. At least in my opinion. I know that sentiment may not be shared across the board, but fellas,
I think that just about wraps things up.
we did it at like what 3 hours 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
A nice bow tie.
Yeah. We're really gonna have to need to find some way to better condense all of this material that's coming out, man.
Bands just need to stop putting out so much good music. That's what it is. If they wouldn't put out good music, they wouldn't have to talk about it.
Yeah, as I said at the beginning of this episode, it's bittersweet.
Yeah,
because we're getting so much good music this year. But then at the same time, we also have a sanity to keep intact. And doing a 3.5-hour podcast is not good for sanity. Like as much as I enjoy this, like there's a limit to it, you know?
Well, it's the timing too, right? Because it's like for those of us still in college, it's finals week, like or it was finals week, I guess, like last week for me. I know you're dealing with it now. You got a final project to deal with, like there's just it's a time in which there's a lot going on, so some reprieve would be appreciated rather than giving us 36 singles and 6 albums to talk about. Like, but you know what? I feel like there was enough good music that in the end, in the long term, it makes it worth it.
And now hopefully you have the entire month of May to listen to this episode.
Yes, exactly. You have 30 days. That's like 10. That's not how that works. Never mind. Yeah.
Math.
It's hard sometimes. Okay.
Yeah, we have been at this for a while. It's understandable. It's acceptable.
I guess if I wanted to get better at math, I could go to Division Street.
Oh boy.
God damn it.
That is the song you skip when you listen to that album.
Yeah, exactly. See, I definitely skipped Division Street. I get Divine for shit, apparently. Oh, man. Man, we
talked about earlier.
I was gonna say, sorry. I was just gonna say earlier we talked about my concept of time not working, and then now it turns out that I just don't know how time works at all.
Yeah, I think I really don't think there's too much more to be said. April, I think even though this is our longest episode again, probably my least favorite month of the year so far in terms of releases.
Oh damn!
I think
wow,
March was my favorite.
Yeah, March for this was my favorite for sure.
I definitely think March is my favorite. I still think both January and February edge out this month. I think what I got this month was some standout singles and some consistently solid albums. None of the albums this month really stood out to me in in the way that some other albums I've heard this year have. And I think that's really what's kind of downplaying the value that this month has on me.
Yeah.
And the albums have not clicked with me in the capacity that I hoped they would. I think really that just comes down to holding absence and Tillian not being what I expected them to be.
Yeah, for sure.
I
feel that.
Either way, let's wrap up the show. We've been at this for a while. If you want to keep up with this show, you can follow on social media at Hivemind Radio _ on Instagram and Twitter. And with that being said, we'll catch you either for another After Hours episode in a couple weeks, or we'll see you next month with our May recap.
If Citizen Soldier DMs us.
Exactly.
Have a
For that
good
being
one,
said,
guys.
take it easy. Hope you
Take it
enjoyed.
easy,
We'll
guys.
see you next month.
Peace.
Bye.
3 hours, 33 minutes, 3 seconds.
Sheesh.
However, I feel like there is a lot. Like I was kind of taking notes while that went on like parts that I can cut out.